Around a little bit to show you. So they brought in a bunch of equipment this afternoon. They also came and dropped off these concrete barriers here. They are keeping us farther back than we were when we first got here because they do believe that this sinkhole is actively expanding. The first measurements they gave us, they estimated it was about 20 feet wide. Then they measured again. They say it grew to about 40 feet, so double the size here. I want to show you some drone video so you can get a different perspective. This sinkhole stretches across both lanes on Wymore. It is right in the heart of Maitland's Executive Center, right by I-4. It first formed overnight. Our News 6 team spoke to a woman who says she was one of the last cars to drive through, and she actually drove right into this sinkhole around 12 a.m.
I was coming from that way, coming down. All of a sudden, my car dropped down, and I was just hitting the gas to come back up. But when I came out, I went on that side.
Some frightening moments for her. She is okay. The car, of course, is damaged. That was Demetria Hauser. She says she drives this road every day. She's certainly not the only one. This part of Maitland is surrounded by offices. There are neighborhoods nearby. All of those people will have to use the detours that are in place. Orangewood Christian School, that's also in this area. School just got out around 3 o'clock, so there's probably a bunch of traffic over on Orinal right now. Officials are recommending, if you can, just avoid this whole area through this weekend. This road is staying closed for now until they can start repairs and the sinkhole is stabilized. Now, we have been watching these crews as they've done some more in-depth assessments this afternoon. They say once they know more about what's actually happening underground, then they'll know what those next steps are. For now, I'm live in Maitland. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Yeah, and that always does take some time. Catherine, thank you very much for that update. We appreciate it. That brings us to our poll of the day. Today, you can take that QR code right on the bottom left of your screen. You can scan it and weigh in as well.
Yeah, our question today is, are you worried about sinkholes? And yes, high concern has 51%, some concern 27%. I'm here to tell you, you should be worried about sinkholes in Central Florida. Well, Lake Eola,
tell them what they should worry about.
Lake Eola is a sinkhole when you think about it. Lake Rose in Winter Park is a sinkhole.
All these lakes are sinkholes.
Our office is located on a sinkhole. It looks beautiful.
But
back
it's
there,
like worrying about asteroids. What are you going to do about it?
Well, it's not sitting right there, though. It's a reminder every single day.
There was just that one guy who was in bed over on the Gulf Coast.
That was in Seffner.
In Seffner.
Michael
I know
Bush.
you covered that.
Yeah, I remember. I will never forget that. It's like your nightmare.
Crazy. So that one will keep you up at night for sure. All right, now to an update to a story we brought you yesterday at 3. The man accused of ambushing a Marion County deputy and stabbing him. We showed you that body cam video. He appeared in court today. You might say things got a little weird at one point when the court was addressing the suspect. His name's Heriberto Medina Marquez, and they were talking about his criminal history. He had an outburst. Prosecutors say not the first time being violent with a member of law enforcement for this guy. Today, a judge charged him with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. When given the chance to speak, here's what he said.
It seems that you wanted to say something about one of the charges that the state attorney...
No, I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you.
It's a little strange there. This situation could have been much worse. Deputy Robert Fitch says his bulletproof vest saved his life. Medina Marquez's next court date is scheduled for June 16th.
All right, well, today, Florida's controversial new map of congressional districts is getting its first challenge in court. This all stems from a Florida lawsuit by Equal Ground Education Fund. So here's what they say. The group says the map, which is expected to give Republicans up to 4 new seats in Congress, was illegally drawn. Florida legislature approved the new House map on April 29th. Republicans already hold 20 of Florida's 28 U.S. House seats. The new maps, which were approved by Governor Ron DeSantis, would give the GOP 4 additional seats in the November elections. A legal brief filed on behalf of the Florida Senate argues partisan intent has not been proven, and a temporary injunction against the new district is not appropriate in advance of a fully developed trial. We'll keep an eye on this and, of course, keep you updated as we learn more about this, because it is a really big deal, and we're not the only people going through this right now. So many other states are facing the same issue with redrawing maps for for the midterms.
It's a national story.
Yeah, it really is. Well, new images for the design of the permanent Pulse Memorial. Plans have been in the works as we get close to the 10-year mark of that tragedy that happened in Central Florida.
Yeah, so last night there was a meeting inside City Hall to update the progress on this. Our Troy Campbell was in there giving us the latest on the design.
Prior to Thursday, we hadn't heard a design update from the city since March. And we know a lot has happened since then, including the demolition of the Pulse building here behind me. Now we're told the design has hit the 60% phase, and we're also seeing new images of what's planned for inside the memorial. New design renderings showing inside the visitor center at the permanent Pulse Memorial. A disco ball can be seen reflecting lights onto the walls nearby. Also posted, a timeline of how the events unfolded back on the morning of June 12, 2016. Other renderings show artwork on the walls and pictures of all 49 angels.
It is incredibly challenging. I think they've done a very admirable job.
Senior project manager Dan Michael Turbovich says the entire design team is determined to create a memorial that will allow for people to reflect and honor the victims.
To see this evolution, everybody had an idea of what we thought it was going to be. But the interesting thing is what did come out of the discussion was something very remarkable, something we would not have anticipated.
Previous renderings released in March show the outside of the memorial, featuring columns, a water wall, and a reflecting pond. Designers also say they want to use some of the concrete that is left here at the Pulse demolition site and incorporate that in the permanent memorial.
So I'm just a little disappointed.
However, not everyone was pleased with the new design renderings, including Pulse Memorial Advisory Board member Nancy Rosado.
But as far as the interior of the visitor center, it's just way too much of a museum-esque quality for me. The Latino community was also disproportionately impacted, and I feel like we're being minimized. I didn't see any emphasis of that or any focus of that in that interior design that we saw.
And the city estimates the project to cost $12 million. They expect construction to start in September and to be completed in September the following year. In Orlando, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Okay, join us Monday night at 7 for a News 6 community conversation. We'll talk about the state of Central Florida's LGBTQ community 10 years after Pulse. Live town hall. It'll have elected leaders, advocates, allies, members of the community. Join the conversation with your questions and your comments. News 6 presents After Pulse, 10 years of healing and change. It streams live Monday at 7 at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, Facebook, and YouTube.
All right, well, this recent Florida man has been all over the news lately. We're talking about rapper Kodak Black.
Yes.
He's been arrested a second time in just a matter of days. And you know there's a problem when we say this is his latest mugshot. He was
latest in a week.
He was arrested in Broward County on charges of resisting arrest and attempting to flee. According to the clerk of courts, he's facing charges of fleeing and eluding and resisting without violence. It stems from a February incident. Now, you may remember this. Black, whose real name is Bill Capri, was arrested last week in Orange County on a charge of trafficking drugs. He was released from jail after posting a $75,000 bond.
Well, a longtime restaurant in downtown Sanford is closing its doors, at least for now, and the owner of this restaurant, very lovable. We've had her on this news show before. After years of service, today is the last day for Chantel's Just Until Restaurant and Lounge as we know it. So the owner, Chantel Williams, made the announcement on social media, telling everybody she's stepping away as full-time owner, but will have a new partnership. That and a new name for the restaurant will be announced later. Williams, who is a mother of 16, was seriously hurt during a motorcycle crash during Bike Week in Daytona Beach, and she just recently made it home. She has an infectious personality. News 6 community correspondent Jarrell Baker caught up with her last weekend.
This is what I've been working for. It feels beyond good. I'm so blessed.
So that was on Mother's Day when the community welcomed Chantel back after she was released from the hospital. The driver who hit Williams, Lenasia Sturgis, is due back in court next month.
Yeah, she's very beloved in the community. She is a Harley rider, and to save her restaurant at one point before, she auctioned off her beloved bike just so they could have enough money to keep the doors open and so she could meet payroll. So
She seems like she's full of stories.
she really, really is an incredible lady. To Volusia County now, where deputies want to take you to take a close look at this next story. They're searching for 3 teens accused of kicking the front doors of homes in Deltona. And this is something we've seen happen a lot lately. This happened earlier this week in the area around Normandy Boulevard and Elkham Boulevard. We've seen this before. It's part of a social media challenge, but the sheriff is once again warning it could have deadly consequences. Sheriff Mike Chitwood posting online, Floridians have the right to defend their home, and while you can recover from your young, dumb mistakes, a bullet to the chest might be a consequence you cannot overcome. That is a stern and dire warning coming from the sheriff of Volusia County. But he's absolutely right. Someone, especially if you do it in the middle of the night or any time really, and they don't know who's at that door kicking it,
Oh, yeah.
and you are on the other side of it with your gun.
This is Florida.
It really
You need
is.
to be careful.
I just don't want it to get to that point
Yeah, I
before
hope
these
not.
kids smarten up. Well, we have seen a number of teen takeovers throughout Central Florida lately.
But one local police department says they figured out where the next one's going to be. We'll tell you about that coming up.
A new push to take down teen takeovers. We've told you about these events recently where hundreds of teens gather at one spot, causing major disruptions and fights. And now police in Kissimmee are working to stop one event before it starts. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez. The owner of Skate Reflections in Kissimmee won't stand for a proposed takeover at the roller rink that started circulating on social media earlier this week. Teen takeovers have popped up all over Central Florida, from Daytona Beach to Icon Park. It's when thousands of teens show up to places after heavy online promotion. One Kissimmee community member has seen the images of teenagers getting into fights at these takeovers and doesn't want one in his city.
It's kind of like a takeover, it's just like start acting up.
But Skate Reflections is prepping for one. The business learned of a planned takeover on Saturday.
Does it concern you to hear that they might be doing one in Kissimmee?
Yes.
The skate rink has made it clear that they're family oriented and they won't tolerate any takeovers. They posted this on social media, adding that they will have extra security here to ensure that everyone is safe.
We've seen across communities disruptive gatherings and unsafe behavior that place people, businesses, and public safety resources at a risk.
The Kissimmee Police Department is trying to stop this from happening. The police chief posting a video on social media expressing how serious they are about this teen takeover.
I want to be very clear. Public safety remains our top priority. Unlawful, disruptive behavior that puts others at risk will absolutely not be tolerated in Kissimmee. Those who engage in criminal behavior will be held accountable.
The chief also talking directly to teens and their parents, asking for partnership as they combat these takeovers. The rink will be open on Saturday with that extra security. Meanwhile, they say the organizer of the event, who did it without their knowledge, is under investigation. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
It's a weird place for a teen takeover.
It's
like, what is this, the 80s? What is happening here? All right, we have been looking all over social media to try to figure out, we always are, trying to figure out what it is you're interested in, what you're talking about.
And today you're talking about something that is pretty bizarre by our standards as well. It's a press release from the governor, and it bans joyriding in the state. There you see it on your screen. It warns violators may face a $1,000 fine if they're caught driving with no destination, which is how most Floridians drive. But it's all
Allegedly
fake.
from the governor.
But it's all fake. There's no such bill. You can read the governor's response inside this story on our homepage, clickorlando.com. And of course, we put it on Facebook for you. But despite this being fake, many of you have a lot to say about it. Here are your real comments. Greg says, if this was real, it would not make the top 3 dumbest laws passed in Florida this year. Ouch, Greg. Jermaine says, can we put an age restriction too in the laugh emoji? No one over 90. They can't have any fun. And this one we can all relate to. Judith adds, with gas prices right now, just going out for a Sunday drive ain't happening. Nobody's smiling for a joyride here. It's too expensive. I just find it so interesting, the things that people will believe.
You can throw it online, and man, it got a ton of response. And you do want to see the governor's response because it's actually pretty funny.
It just makes me nervous that you can put things like that out there and we believe it. Not us.
They could make an AI version of Ron DeSantis and have him announcing it at a press conference.
Oh, I know where you got that. All right, abortion medication can now be shipped through the mail.
And now Amazon is recalling a certain teething toy. Up next, we'll have a look at your business headlines.
Hey there, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. A choking hazard with teething toys that is leading to a recall, and a lower court decision is upheld by the federal Supreme Court. So let's get right over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. So this Supreme Court situation is all about an abortion pill, Maribel.
It is, Lauren. The Supreme Court ruled telehealth providers can continue prescribing and mailing the abortion pill mifepristone while legal challenges move forward. It upheld a stay on a lower court's decision that would require in-person pickup of the drug nationwide. Louisiana initially sued the FDA for allowing the medication to be mailed, saying it violates federal and state laws. That was upheld by an appeals court, then paused by Justice Samuel Alito before the full bench backed it yesterday. The FDA first approved the mailing of mifepristone in 2024. Several industry groups estimate that 30 to 40% of medication abortions in the U.S. use mail-order telehealth providers. Lauren.
Wow. All right. Some interesting statistics there, Maribel. Also, let's talk about Amazon having to recall a very popular baby toy.
Important for parents here. More than 102,000 teething toys sold on Amazon are being recalled after several reports of choking incidents. The toy, made by ZW Creations, is disc-shaped with a red ball in the middle and multiple pull strings in various colors. The Consumer Product Safety Alert says the strings are long enough to potentially block a child's airway. The toys were sold between October of 2022 and January of last year. Consumers are advised to immediately stop using the product and ensure that it's out of children's reach. The company is offering free replacements or refunds. Full details can be found, Lauren, on SIPSA's website.
And the reason I'm even glad we're talking about this is because, no, not everybody's impacted, but you might know somebody that is, right? Even if you don't have a little one at home.
That's right.
Again. So, all right, Maribel, thank you. Remember, for the latest money and consumer news anytime, you can always head to clickorlando.com.
Okay, so your wedding day is supposed to be allegedly one of the happiest days of your life, right?
Allegedly?
It is the happiest day of your life.
Yours
Until you
was-
haven't.
I heard it was very nice. I
I'm
wasn't
not
invited,
saying-
but
I didn't know you at the time. All right, but now many couples are saying I don't to the bill. Here are some tips and stats from the wedding planning site The Knot to help save you a little bit of money, hopefully. Last year, U.S. couples spent an average of $34,200 on their
where
wedding.
are they getting that stat? That's insane.
Shouldn't that go to the house? Those costs can vary drastically, though, depending on your location. And guests can spend an average of $610 for every wedding. That includes travel, hotel costs, your outfit, and buying the couple a gift. One way to save is to have friends stay together to share hotel costs.
Okay, all right.
You can
I
also
love these tips. Give me some more tips, Ginger.
Chip in on a gift, Matt. Brides and grooms can also list a range of places to stay nearby on their wedding website. It is crazy to me because that $34,000 you're spending could be for your home. That's where, I mean, and
or
granted,
if you took it and put it in the stock market, if you were getting married at 25,
My goodness.
$34,000 by the time you're
what
70.
a gift to yourself.
I have
would
3
be-
daughters, and I'm going to tell you right now.
We just sound really old. These
gonna-
people who are in their 20s getting married right now, they don't want to hear this advice.
No, I'm not. I'm not giving them any advice. All I'm saying is that's a lot of money that dads have to pay.
You sure do.
If you
Don't
have
screw
daughters.
It up. Yeah.
Okay.
And all you have are daughters.
That is all I have. And that I wouldn't trade them for any smelly boy. All right, it is an ongoing saga that may finally be coming to an end. Tampa Bay, Hillsborough County, are they trying to finally figure out what to do with this raised stadium? Supposedly they're making progress.
All right, we'll have to see. And then coming up on the news at 4 o'clock today, new details in the story of a school that showed images of Hitler during the morning announcements. Who is now facing responsibility? News 6 investigator Erica Brugulio is looking into that.
Welcome back. Well, when people think about the Pulse nightclub massacre, of course, the first thing you think about are those 49 lives lost that day.
Yeah, and we always want to think about them because they should never be forgotten. But trauma surgeons at Orlando Health say what happened inside their trauma bay that night and inside the hospital transformed the way medical teams everywhere now prepare for mass casualty events. And that's all because of what happened there. Orlando Health says over these past 10 years, their team has shared the lessons learned from Pulse. They've given some 600 presentations. One of the lessons they discuss is something that they weren't fully prepared for that night: how to care for the terrified family members who were waiting outside.
Most disaster drills focus on how to take care of patients. Nobody ever talks about families. We had over 500 family members that were sitting outside of the hospital because the hospital was on lockdown, all wanting to know, how is my loved one?
Can you imagine? And in a twist, nurses and staff had unknowingly rehearsed for a night like Pulse just 3 months earlier. This was in March of 2016. A scenario that year was actually a mass shooter on the UCF campus. That disaster drill sent hundreds of mock victims to hospitals across Central Florida. So when the real shooting happened, many of those lessons they learned just 3 months earlier were immediately put to use. And Dr. Cheatham, who you saw there, says there's no doubt that lives were saved because of all that training that happened so recent, and it was just fresh in their minds. In fact, 35 Pulse victims who were taken to the trauma bay for surgery all survived. All of them. If they made it to surgery, they lived.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is an incredible story. And
they were horrific wounds that they received
things they
from that
have
assault
never
rifle.
seen before. So God bless them, and thank goodness they were on duty that night. And we'd like to ask you to join us Monday night at 7 for a News 6 community conversation. We'll talk about the state of Central Florida's LGBTQ community 10 years after Pulse. Our live town hall will include elected leaders along with advocates, allies, and members of the LGBTQ community. Join the conversation live with your comments and questions. News 6 presents After Pulse: 10 years of healing and change. It's streaming live at 7 on clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, Facebook, and YouTube. We hope you join us. Well, a big honor in St. Cloud for the police officers who jumped into action to rescue 6 people from a sinking boat. Now, you may remember this one. It's hard to forget. We showed you this incredible video from Lake Toho just a couple of weeks ago when the boat started taking on water and rough weather there. And last night, the officers who jumped into action were honored for their bravery.
We're blessed to have such a great training team and such a great administration that backs us and believes in us. And as I said, with all of those things came a rescue rather than a recovery.
Yeah, the family they rescued all said to be doing okay thanks to their heroic actions.
Toho's a big lake and filled with alligators.
Yeah.
So very
Thank
nice to
goodness
have
they
those
were
people
brave,
rescuing them and getting them out of there before they had to sit in the water for too long. Well, for weeks we've been telling about this terrible story involving 55 so far, I believe is the latest number of sloths that have died. Well, we finally have a more positive update for you. The community's really stepping in, helping out with this whole t-shirt campaign. The demand for those sloth shirts, say that 5 times fast, benefiting the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens. They're back in stock. Sanford Main Street says a new batch of the popular fundraiser shirts are back. They're at the Sanford Welcome Center. For those who can't make it in person, the shirts are available for purchase online through the Sanford Main Street website. The response has been crazy, overwhelming. Supporters from 34 states have placed online orders. The first run of 100 shirts sold out really quickly. For more information, visit the story on the homepage of clickorlando.com. They're about $35 a piece, and obviously people aren't donating because it's the most amazing shirt in the world. They're just doing it to try to help these sloths.
Although I did get my hands on one of those shirts, they're pretty nice.
It is? Yeah.
They're really, if you say soft sloth shirts 3 times.
You're a brave woman.
But no, I'm just so happy to see people stepping up because you hear sloths in need or need of care. But the Central Florida Zoo, they still have 10 surviving sloths that are hanging on for dear life.
And they're having to give them a ton of medical attention.
Yeah, so all of that really helps. Well, we now know more about the students accused of bringing guns to campus at 2 Central Florida schools yesterday. They were placed on alert. We first brought you this is breaking news yesterday.
Yeah, so investigators found students with guns at both Seminole Seminole and Lyman high schools. Your Seminole County community correspondent Mark Lehman is reporting on the latest in those cases.
I was one of several parents who got alerts sent to my phone yesterday about the code red lockdown. I was actually driving in the area when I saw law enforcement responding to this campus. Thankfully, the situation was resolved quickly. The district says in both cases, these are serious crimes that can carry long-term consequences. A scary situation unfolding at 2 Seminole County high schools on Thursday as a student at each school was found with a gun on campus. Seminole High was put on lockdown near the end of the school day after a student told administrators that a classmate had a firearm. After a search, police say they found and arrested a 17-year-old who was hiding in a closet with a gun in his bag. Sanford Police Chief Cecil Smith saying in part, "We have zero tolerance for anyone who jeopardizes the safety of students and staff in our schools. If you do so, you will be arrested and charged accordingly." Nearly 10 miles away, the same situation was happening at Lyman High School. The district says they got a tip about a weapon on campus. A student there was arrested after law enforcement said they were found with a gun. Superintendent Sarita Beeman sending a message to parents saying in part, "The safety and security of our students and staff remain our highest priority. We are incredibly grateful for the individual who came forward today. Their courage allowed our administration and law enforcement partners to respond immediately and resolve the situation safely." And students arriving on campus out here this morning are already seeing an additional law enforcement presence. They can also expect to see K-9 weapon detection officers as well. As for the 2 students who were arrested yesterday, they're expected to appear before a judge later this morning. For now, reporting in Sanford, I'm your Seminole County community correspondent, Mark Lehman, News 6.
All right, and just about a half an hour ago, we got an update on one of those students. Sanford Police school resource officers have arrested 17-year-old Jeremiah Burgess for tampering with a witness in relation to yesterday's arrest on the Seminole High School campus. Burgess was taken to Seminole County's Juvenile Assessment Center.
Good to know. Well, if you were impacted by this 2023 Comcast hack, I don't know if you remember this one, but it was a huge one. You might be due some money in this case. This after the company reached a pretty big settlement here. Comcast now must set up a fund of $117.5 million. That's for payments to settlement class members for other expenses. Comcast says only people who received notices in December of 23 can get the money. The lawsuit accused Comcast of inadequate cybersecurity that exposed the personal information of millions of people. So that's a pretty big check. Now it's going to be a ton of people, so each check will probably be significantly smaller. But I'll tell you what, some lawyers are going to get paid huge.
Their checks are never small,
no,
right?
they're not.
All right, we have some new details in from Hillsborough County. We're learning the city of Tampa and the county have reached a financial proposal and a new stadium in Tampa. Okay. This is according to our news partner in Tampa. The team would pay for more than $2.3 billion cost of a new ballpark and a 130-acre residential entertainment district, which is now between 55 and 60% of the total cost, plus any construction overruns. With the city of Tampa Bay and the city of Tampa, I should say, and the county contributing more than $800 million.
It's going to be less than $200 million, maybe a little bit less than $190 million.
So they don't need to have all the money up front, but we can give it over 4 years, which allows us to not bond, and that will save significant interest and bonding costs.
All right, Hillsborough County leaders are expected to meet on Wednesday and could vote on all of this. So we'll just have to wait and see. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Well, $2 billion, really, for a stadium?
It's going to cover construction overruns, Matt, which you know there will be.
I can't imagine.
Oh, my gosh.
No way.
Yeah.
It usually works out so well, big projects like that. Hey, the Rock and Roller Coaster is almost done with its makeover. You know, you're going to sub out Aerosmith for the Muppets, so you might not even really notice a difference. The Electric Mayhem will hit the stage on May 26th at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So this includes a new soundtrack, visuals, audio animatronic figure of Scooter, and a team of Penguin audio engineers getting the band to showtime.
Okay.
Since 1999, the Rock and Roller Coaster featured hits from bands like Aerosmith. If you want more theme park news and updates, we have you covered. Sign up for Haley Coombs In the Loop newsletter. It will come to your inbox every Friday morning. I have some great memories from the Rock and Roller Coaster. It's right next to what my kids used to call the Tower of Terrorists, which is the Tower of Terror. It made it extra scary, though, I think.
I'll say.
So good times in
That's
that
one
little
ride I'm not interested
corner of the
in.
park.
Okay. Yesterday we told you, this is a great update, we told you about 2 juvenile green sea turtles. They're now back at home in the ocean, of course. The Brevard Zoo sending us video of that big release this afternoon or yesterday. The pair was found wrapped in fishing gear in 2 separate instances on the water at Jetty Park Pier in Port Canaveral. They named this one Sir Hooks-a-Lot and another one Stag. They just finished months-long rehab at the Sea Turtle Rehab Center at the Brevard Zoo. Sir Hooks-a-Lot had a large lure with 3 treble hooks in his right eyelid. It was so painful to see that video yesterday. And he also had something wrapped around his front flipper, and that's how he got his name, with all those hooks. Stag was found with fishing line wrapped around his head, neck, and flippers. He got his name because he was found on February 15th, aka National Singles Awareness Day, which I know you hate that little factoid, but Bob it is. We'll just call him
It's just
Bob.
weird. Sir Hooks-a-Lot. Hey, what a funny joke. You had a hook in your eye.
I know,
That's
I
a
know.
weird
And that's
name.
coming from you.
That's true. That should tell you something, for sure. All right, usually when there's a drought out there, you have to turn the sprinklers off. Maybe you can't use your hose as much.
Yeah, but in Lake County, it's actually affecting restaurants. We'll talk about it when we come back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
All right, welcome back to News 6 at 3 o'clock. Look at where we would love to be right now at this time. That's a beautiful shot of Daytona Beach. It doesn't, every time I see this, Jordan, at this time, it doesn't look real, but How lucky are those people to be out on that sand right now? I know it's hot sand, but still, it's sand nonetheless.
But you know what? We don't have a lot of humidity right now, so we'll call it comfortably hot. So it's warm, but it's not the really sticky, gross kind of warm.
I'm not buying comfortably hot. No, there's nothing comfortable about being hot.
That's a Jonathan term. We'll blame Jonathan, but it is a great beach day. I know tomorrow's Saturday. A lot of you may want to head out to the beaches or maybe head on a cruise ship towards Port Canaveral.
Nice.
We actually do have a launch, a SpaceX launch coming up in about 2.5 hours. So we're looking pretty good out the lens of our Launch Credit Union Skycam this afternoon. Temperatures on the comfortable side out there. We're talking mid-80s at Port Canaveral this afternoon. Winds coming in out of the east at around 11 miles per hour, keeping the clouds well inland. So we do look A-OK for launch at 6:05 this evening. Temperatures right around where they are right now into the mid-80s around launch time. Launch probability is a 90% go. I think weather-wise, we are fine unless something technical happens. I think it'll go off without a hitch. Here's why, Ginger. A lot of dry air just swathed over the entire state of Florida. High pressure building in on top of that. So that means sinking, stable air. That's what we love to see for a nice beach weekend out there. One change from yesterday, though, is our winds are now coming in out of the east. So that does mean we're going to start to introduce a little bit warmer temperatures throughout the overnight hours. So let's take a look at Mr. Gray. This is a cat who loves Jonathan.
Apparently.
So Mr. Gray is going to be watching Jonathan at 5 o'clock with temperatures into the mid and upper 80s. Nice dry conditions. Mid 80s holding on through 7 o'clock. So you might want to wait for the sun to go down before walking the dog this evening. It will be a little bit warm thanks to that easterly flow. And on top of that, we are talking warmer low temperatures with that onshore flow into the low 70s. That also is going to mean a little bit better of a shower chance later in the afternoon for Saturday and Sunday. Not going to be a wash up by any means, but we will be talking some spotty shower chances, and you'll see that on the 7-day forecast, only at about 20% Saturday, bumping it up to 30 on Sunday, and we'll continue that into early next week. But you'll notice, Ginger, really not a lot of rainfall in the forecast, which is really not going to be helping our drought situation. A lot of us, like Lake County, still in extreme drought conditions.
Yeah, that does not look good. And, you know, it's having a big impact on what some Central Florida restaurants are doing. Our News 6 Ashley Garrett is reporting on how some of them may stop serving complimentary water.
Water supply, flood protection, water quality, and natural systems.
Clay Corsi with the St. Johns River Water Management District says those are the agency's 4 core missions, now under pressure as Central Florida's drought deepens. Lake County, the latest area declared extreme.
We have a water shortage declaration, not just in Lake County, but extending up to where the St. Johns River Water Management District jurisdiction ends in Nassau and Baker County with the border with Georgia.
Low rainfall driving the shortage. Flagler and Marion counties also in phase 3, prompting tighter rules.
We wanted our messaging to be very clear so that if you went from one county to another, you weren't hearing different things.
The biggest change? Lawn watering. Instead of twice a week, the district is limiting landscape irrigation to 1 day a week to reduce stress on the aquifer, which supplies drinking water. Some residents blame growth.
The development is not the driver behind this. Really, the driver behind it is those deficit rainfall conditions.
Corsi says restrictions could ease later this summer if conservation efforts and rainfall make a significant difference.
Ashley Garrett, News 6.
Just another thing to think about, because it is really serious out there when you talk about not serving complimentary water at the restaurants.
No.
You think, how much can that really conserve? But every bit helps, I would imagine.
I suppose so, and the restaurants will get to sell a lot more Coca-Cola. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, well, the search is now on for a new 007. Daniel Craig has held the role most recently with his 5th and final appearance in the 2021 film No Time to Die. So Amazon MGM Studios says it is starting casting for the next iteration of the James Bond franchise. It's unclear who could nab the iconic role. Some notable past Bonds before Craig include Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Pierce Brosnan. Do you have a favorite of that group?
Pierce Brosnan's my guy.
Yeah, he's good. All right. There have also been discussions about Idris Elba being thrown into the ring.
I know that excites you.
I don't even know why they would need to look past that. He should just be.
We have one candidate, everybody.
and he's a stunner. So Amazon MGM Studios just recently took over the creative control of the movie franchise, but he would be so good in this role. And also he would make history as the first black James Bond,
Right.
James Bond of color, however you want to say it. But he's just,
I
you've
gotta
seen
say,
him.
I'd watch that movie. I would.
I'd own that movie.
I would. I'll buy the DVD, and I don't have a DVD player.
So good. All right.
All right. Oh, it's my turn. All right.
He threw you
I
off.
was thinking about Idris Elba. Sorry. I got lost in those eyes. Hey, can you believe that it is almost football season right now, and all of the teams are starting to do little releases for their schedule. And there was a bit of an announcement with the Jaguars and their heartthrob quarterback.
Yeah.
Take a look at this thing. Let's show it to you. Trevor Lawrence. He is known for his long locks. All right, I think, well, is he going to look weird without that? I don't know. He's going to go into the new season with a new look,
Is he
apparently.
getting a bob?
Look at that. They're cutting it.
He's getting.
Oh.
No.
This video was posted by the team. It shows the schedule as his hair falls to the ground. The Jags looking to keep some momentum. They got a playoff spot last year. I don't know what, I feel like he needs his, you think that's a wig? Jamie says, telling me it's a wig. It is a wig?
It's fake. It's fake.
Okay.
Well, come on, guys. We're better than this.
I mean,
I love his long hair. He's
it
gotta
had me
have
for
it.
a minute.
It's his trademark.
Okay, we have it from our sports director
Okay.
that that's a wig.
It's like Samson. He can't cut his hair. That's where his power is. Right?
I don't know if that's true, but I guess we'll find out this year.
Oh, my gosh. All right. So there's a lot.
That was a bad wig. She's going off over
A
it.
terrible wig. There's a lot to do in Central Florida this weekend, including Orlando City. They're back home.
Plus, we're honoring active military and veterans. We have a preview of that and what's happening. That's coming up.
Looking for something fun to do this weekend? Well, make sure you're staying hydrated if you're out and about. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan here at Lock Haven Park, where the Orlando Fringe Festival will be happening now through May 25th. I spoke to Tempest, the artistic director, about what you can expect.
We have our outdoor stage and lawn, so we have about 35 different food vendors. We have a complete open bar. We have programming on the outdoor stage that's completely free. Come as you are. Everyone is just here to have fun, to connect, to engage, to find their community. So it is just so open. Everyone is here to have a good time.
Another event to check out is the 5th annual Sanford's Ride to Freedom, Saturday from 7 to 5 p.m. This family-friendly bike ride honors Florida's Emancipation Day with a scenic 12-mile route through historic Central Florida communities. Fun for all ages and skill levels. Check out the Sand and Sun Festival Saturday from 10 to 5 p.m. in downtown Ocala. Enjoy giant sand sculptures, live music, food trucks, artisan vendors, and fun activities for the kids. Military and Veterans Appreciation Day at Lou Gardens is Saturday from 9 to 5 p.m. Active duty military members and veterans can enjoy free admission and a relaxing day surrounded by beautiful scenery. Orlando City takes on Atlanta United Saturday night at Inter & Co Stadium with kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Expect an electric atmosphere and non-stop soccer action. The Asian Cultural Festival happens Sunday from 3 to 8 p.m. at Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This free event features cultural performances, music, dance, art, and delicious foods from across Asian communities.
And if you have a fun event happening in your town next weekend, let me know. To submit your event, you can head over to clickorlando.com or our new 6 app, Just Tap Contact Us.
All right, I'll be taking part at Couch Fest, happening at my own home this weekend.
She does nothing on the weekends.
At least on Saturday anyway.
She becomes a hermit.
Hey, you got to recover from all of this.
I don't blame you, yeah.
All right, we're getting ready for News 6 at 4.
We have a lot coming up for you. Our community correspondent, Jarrell Baker, is talking to a woman who has a restaurant a lot of people love. She's a mom of 16, rides a Harley. She's going to have to at least pull away from that restaurant for a little while. We'll talk about that coming up.
A sinkhole opens up and shuts down this road right next to I-4 in Maitland.
Oh, my whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
We're hearing from a woman who says she drove right into it.
The man accused of stabbing a Marion County deputy is being held without bond. I'm News 6's Amy Russo. Coming up, what we're now learning about his criminal history.
An image of Adolf Hitler featured during a high school morning announcement. The results of an investigation coming up.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
A newly opened sinkhole shutting down a road is growing.
This afternoon, we learned it's now about 40 feet wide, double the size it was when we first learned about it early this morning. This is all happening on Wymore Road in Maitland. News 6's Catherine Silver. She's been out there all day. Catherine, crews have brought out a bunch of equipment now.
Yeah, hopefully that's a sign that they're getting closer to figuring out what's actually going on underground. I'm told part of that process will include backfilling this sinkhole with water and dirt. If that water stays and doesn't drain out, then they'll know that there's no void. Now, when this first formed overnight, there were still cars that were driving through here. Our News 6 team spoke with one woman who says she thought that she hit something at first, then realized she had actually run right into this sinkhole. A mess in Maitland, where this sinkhole appeared on Wymore Road around midnight.
I was screaming and hollering on the phone. I said, I think I hit somebody.
Demetria Hauser says she dropped down and drove right through it.
Kept hitting the gas. It took a little minute.
She didn't get out without damage.
Oh, my whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
Hauser says in the dark, she and other drivers just didn't see it. In the daylight, you can see how the depression now stretches across both lanes, and crews closely watching it say it's expanding.
Because of that, we can't really begin to assess any further or really even look at the repairs until the sinkhole has been stabilized.
Orange County Public Works says an in-depth assessment will determine exactly what's happening underground. And when they know that, then they will know the next steps.
It's Central Florida. We all know we have sinkholes. We're in a drought, so it's not hard to imagine that this could happen. But without that ground penetrating radar report and without having their full assessment, we just don't know.
Now, we've been watching crews here today gathering some of that information. In the meantime, Public Works says this road will likely stay closed through the weekend, and a lot of people do rely on this route to get home, get to and from work, or get to Orangewood Christian School. They can use Orinol Road as a detour, but just plan for traffic during peak times. I'm live in Maitland. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. Let's take you for a live look now. This is our camera in beautiful Daytona Beach. There is a high risk of rip currents at the beach this weekend over the next few days, and we could see some showers this weekend.
Meteorologist Jordan Patrick joins us now with what to expect. Jordan?
Yeah, guys, it's all because of that onshore breeze that we're starting to get into Central Florida thanks to high pressure. Currently 84 degrees towards Daytona Beach, but that easterly component to our winds, northeast at around 10 to 15 miles per hour, shaking our camera a little bit. That's what's causing that elevated rip current risk for this weekend, and also we'll get those sea breeze showers and thunderstorms going as we push into this weekend. But not this evening, though. We have a lot of dry air out there, keeping us on the warm side. 91 right now in Orlando, 89 towards Leesburg and Claremont, 91 towards Winter Haven, and we're in the mid-80s down towards the coastline, but very dry conditions, like I mentioned. Nothing to talk about on the radar. As we head towards the dew points, though, very comfortable out there. Dew points in the upper 50s and low 60s means bone dry air. That'll be the trend for the rest of this evening, with temperatures holding steady into the mid-80s, dropping down to the upper 70s by 9 o'clock. But we have to talk about your launch forecast for the Falcon 9 rocket. That's coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, Jordan, we'll see you then. Thank you. Well, the man accused of ambushing a deputy will be staying in jail. Investigators say his attack was caught on body cam video.
Hey, buddy. Hey!
News 6's Amy Russo was in the courtroom today when the judge gave him no bond.
When the court was addressing the suspect, that's Heriberto Medina Marquez, when they were talking about his criminal history, he had an outburst. And get this, prosecutors say this is not his first time being violent with law enforcement.
That was my car.
I'll let you explain. Give me 1 second.
That was 38-year-old Heriberto Medina Marquez interrupting when his criminal history was read aloud at his first court appearance Friday morning.
Resisting an officer with violence from 2015.
resisting an officer with violence from 2015, battery on a law enforcement officer from 2011.
Medina Marquez notably in a wheelchair now. When given the chance to speak, this is what he said.
It seems that you wanted to say something about one of the charges that the state attorney Rip.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you.
Medina Marquez has been charged with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer after this.
Hey, buddy.
Hey!
On Wednesday evening, Marion County Deputy Robert Fitch was responding to a call of a suspicious person in Denellen. Within seconds of getting out of his car, the deputy was attacked, thrown to the ground, and stabbed multiple times. Body cam footage capturing the disturbing event. Deputies say Medina Marquez then ran into the woods before another deputy arrived and took him into custody. Fitch's bulletproof vest credited with saving his life.
The fact that his life was spared is a blessing to us.
Medina Marquez's next court date is scheduled for June 16th at 9 a.m. It's for a felony arraignment. In Marion County, Amy Russo, News 6.
Rapper Kodak Black is out of jail after being arrested a second time within just days of being released from jail right here in Orange County. The well-known rapper, whose real name is Bill Capri, was arrested yesterday in Broward County. This arrest stems from an incident in February when law enforcement says Black did have knowledge he had been ordered to stop, but still chose to flee from deputies. He is now being charged with fleeing and eluding and resisting arrest. These new charges come 1 week after he was arrested in Orlando. He's accused of drug trafficking. He later pled not guilty and was released from jail after posting a $75,000 bond.
Plea deal withdrawn. That's how an Orange County court hearing ended for a man accused of killing a 32-year-old, despite the fact the hearing was scheduled as a sentencing. This is a case that's getting lots of attention from Florida's Attorney General. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti was inside the courtroom when the man changed course.
You're saying you don't want your lawyer anymore, and you don't want the deal. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It's not the deal, it's really the lawyer.
That was Savion Lambert ditching his lawyer and thus backing off of a plea deal that would have resulted in a 20-year prison sentence. All of this unfolding in a courtroom right in front of the family of the man Lambert is accused of killing.
The best day of my life. I am so happy with the outcome. This is my brother.
Her brother was Carlos Perez, shot and killed in 2024. And according to this criminal complaint, Lambert had claimed it was an accident.
Withdrawn in the admission as well.
Perez's family argues the evidence suggests otherwise. Either way, there was a plea deal on the table, one that Perez's family never got behind. They want a trial.
I want this case removed out of Orange County. This is a joke. They don't know how to handle this case. This case has been jeopardized, and I want it out.
That sentiment mirrors criticism we heard from Attorney General James Uthmeier, who just this week posted this video to X bashing State Attorney Monique Worrell for the fact that in 2022, Lambert received a youth offender sentence of probation on a carjacking charge.
State Attorney Worrell's obvious pattern or practice of leniency on violent and deadly criminals must end.
In a statement, Worrell's office says in part that Lambert received that youthful offender sentence through a plea directly to the bench, with the sentence imposed entirely at the court's discretion. Her office did not, however, respond to our question about Perez's family wanting the case moved out of Orange County. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
An update now to the pushback against Florida's newly redrawn congressional map. Today, a Leon County judge heard arguments in a case challenging the new congressional districts passed by Florida lawmakers. Voting rights groups and individual voters had filed 3 separate lawsuits, each asking the judge to issue a temporary injunction striking down the new map. If the map stands, Florida's congressional delegation could shift from the current 20-8 Republican advantage to a 24-4 GOP majority in the U.S. House. Attorneys challenging the map argue it was intentionally drawn to benefit Republicans, violating Florida's Fair Districts Amendment, which bans bipartisan gerrymandering. Opponents say the maps should be left in place.
Plaintiffs and Florida voters will face irreparable harm if the 2026 election goes forward under unlawful districts.
There should be a trial. There should be a proper assessment of the facts, all of the facts, a testing of the evidence, a testing of the expert witnesses before another plan is imposed other than the one that the Florida legislature enacted.
The difference could matter in a midterm election year where the Republican Party is trying to hold on to a narrow advantage in the U.S. House. The judge did not say when he will rule on that case.
An image of Adolf Hitler featured during the morning announcement. New at 4, the school district has completed its investigation into what happened months ago at Osceola High School. News 6 investigator Erica Briguglio has the findings.
According to this letter obtained by News 6, a media specialist received a written reprimand for the video showing Adolf Hitler giving a Nazi salute. It was part of a Today in History segment during the morning announcements. We blurred part of that video because it shows swastikas and other imagery some may find offensive.
Good morning, Cowboys. Today is Friday, January 30th. Today in history, 1939, Adolf Hitler threatened Jews during his speech to the German Reichstag Parliament.
This video was played during the morning announcements at Osceola High School in late January. The image of Hitler showed during the Today in History segment before moving on to other school news and events. According to this discipline letter obtained by News 6, the staff member independently created and published the video, which was seen by students, staff, and the community. The video was deleted but led to complaints, prompting an investigation into violating state and district policies for appropriate instructional content and professional responsibilities. The letter states the image of Hitler was displayed before a written historical explanation without appropriate context. Now, according to this letter, the staff member cannot publish or select any historical images or content in the morning announcements without prior administrative review or approval, or face possible suspension or termination. Erica Briguglio, News 6.
2 different schools, 2 teens accused of bringing guns on campus.
Yeah, what a judge just decided about custody and what happens next for both cases.
And a beloved Sanford spot is serving its final meal after the owner's Bike Week crash. Why she says this is not a final goodbye, though. That's next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by True Deals Realty.
Many are making their way here to Chantel's Just Until's in Sanford just to say goodbye to the restaurant as they know it, because it's going to be going through an entire makeover. I'm News 6's Jarrell Baker. Now, this announcement comes days after the owner, Chantel Williams, came back home from the hospital after a devastating crash during Bike Week.
I know. Thank you.
Several customers came into Chantel's Just Until's, grabbing one last meal before the restaurant changes for good. This after the owner, Chantel Williams, announced on social media that the business will be closing.
It's a sad point. Chantel's was someplace to go on the weekend, and it's going to be missed.
Black owned, so it's definitely mean a lot to, have something of your own to, show people around.
And for many bikers like Old Soul, who's been going faithfully for the past 8 years, says that this restaurant is a pillar.
Chantel being a part of the biker community, the biker community supports her.
That's true.
Hey, girl. Thank you, ma'am.
We love you, baby.
I love you too, baby.
The beloved owner says that she made the decision just days before leaving the hospital this weekend, months after a drunk driver crashed into her in Daytona Beach during Bike Week in March. She says it's time for her to step back and spend more time with family.
It's not the last day. It's the last day of Chantel's Just Until how we know it.
She also is still recovering from a shattered pelvis, broken breastbone, and fractures in both arms from the crash. But this isn't necessarily a goodbye. Now she's collaborating with a new partner.
He has that, and I get to be like Ronald McDonald. Just come with charitable events or kind of when I want to, so that'll give me the rest that I really need without re-injuring myself.
Williams says that she still owns the property and will receive 20% of the proceeds. Williams says that there will still be food items that people know and love at the new restaurant. They're hoping to have that open by next month. In Sanford, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
All right, your Friday evening could include a launch from the Space Coast.
Yes, SpaceX is preparing to launch supplies and experiments to the International Space Station. The launch was originally scheduled for Tuesday, but it was scrubbed a few times due to weather. Right now, liftoff from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station is set for 6:05 tonight. We'll bring it to you live when it happens during News 6 at 6. Now, because the Falcon 9's first stage booster will return to land, you may hear a sonic boom shortly after launch, so don't be afraid. The spacecraft with the supplies should get to the space station by Thursday. It will remain docked there before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean sometime next month.
All right, so let's get a check of that forecast as we head into the weekend. We have Jordan Patrick joining us tonight. So Jordan, our meteorologist, tell us what's going on out there on the coast right now.
Absolutely pristine conditions for this launch coming up in about just under 2 hours this afternoon through the lens of our Launch Credit Union camera at Port Canaveral. Right now, you notice some cloud cover that's facing westward. All those clouds are being pushed inland from the sea breeze right along the coastline, mostly clear skies. So it does look like, at least weather-wise, the Falcon 9 rockets should go off without a hitch. 83 degrees right now towards the Cape. Winds coming in off the ocean at around 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's going to keep pushing all those clouds inland. So as we head towards launch at around 6:05 this evening, temperatures about where they are right now. That launch probability at 90%. So weather-wise, like I mentioned, I think we're fine. With the exception of maybe something technical last minute, I do think we'll see that going off without a hitch. Dry air in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere all across the state of Florida. High pressure on top of that continuing to build into the southeast. So that means a very quiet, stable weather pattern for this evening and even into the first half of our weekend. Now, one change from the last couple of days is now that we have this onshore flow coming in at around 5 to 15 miles per hour, that means our low temperatures are going to start being a little bit warmer than what we saw last night. So I don't think we'll be seeing much in the way of upper 60s like yesterday. So as Mr. Gray watches Jonathan at 5 and 6 o'clock this evening, temperatures will still be in the mid and upper 80s with those mostly clear skies. And by the time we see sunset, temperatures still remaining in the low and mid 80s. So the dogs might be a little bit warm on that walk this evening, but a very wonderful beautiful evening to enjoy. Low temperatures, like I mentioned, should be into the mid and upper 60s. We're only going to be dropping down into the low 70s for most of Central Florida, with the exception of Ocala and Gainesville, with temperatures into the upper 60s because of this building onshore breeze. That's going to keep our temperatures warmer in the evenings and also give us those afternoon showers and thunderstorms along the sea breeze. Now, with the exception of that dry air that's still holding on to our forecast, that's going to limit the amount of coverage for these showers and storms. But we'll get a couple of squeakers out on your Saturday. We'll call them some sprinkles, mainly hovering around the I-75 corridor. But Sunday, the wind relaxes just a little bit, allows for those showers to be a little bit more spread across Central Florida. So Sunday is going to be a little bit of a better chance for those showers and thunderstorms. But we're really not talking a big deal, Ginger. We're going to be talking about 20% on Saturday, only up to 30% Sunday and into early next week. High temperatures remaining where they should be into the upper 80s to low 90s, but we definitely need more rainfall than this. Unfortunately, guys, it just looks like some spotty showers for now.
We will take what we can get. Jordan, thank you. Now to an update on a major project along the coast.
I'm Molly Reed in New Smyrna, where a month-long project to dredge sand with these big pipes along the beach is finally over. We're going to walk you through what this project did and what it's going to look like once it's done. I'm Molly Reed, your Volusia County community correspondent. A major 5-month-long project here in New Smyrna on the beach to dredge sand and re-nourish the beaches is finally over. So right now during the day, to get this off the beach, that big machinery down there is lifting the pipes up, unscrewing them, and then overnight and in the early morning hours, another crew will be coming out here, dragging the pipes out to sea and put them on a barge to take them out of here.
It is good to re-nurse and bring all the sand back in, but at the same time, kind of pulling up to the beach and seeing all the pipes is something you don't want to see.
The county hopes to have this project completely off the beach by Memorial Day weekend. Once the pipes are gone, the county will put plants back in the dunes. Since January, it was dredging sand from a nearby area and pumping it along 4 miles of New Smyrna's beaches from north of Flagler Ave down south to almost Bethune Beach.
We have a beautiful berm that stays dry during high tide.
Jessica Fentress is the county's coastal director. She says major hurricanes over the last 5 years washed away most of the sand that was here, leaving high tides that would hit the seawalls and little dunes that would protect the coastline.
Sand is sacrificial. The reason that we place this sand on the beach is not only as a buffer from storm events on our shoreline, but it also provides critical nesting habitat for our sea turtles and our resting shorebirds.
Fentress says they actually ran out of sand to pump into the southern end of New Smyrna in this project, but will circle back to it soon.
We wouldn't commit to that until we worked out the financials, and none of that would begin until after November 1st, which is when sea turtle nesting closes.
Now, there is another major beach renourishment project already on the books, the county says. This one will be in 2027, where they will be targeting the beaches along Ponce Inlet. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Molly Reed, News 6.
All right, parents, a new social media challenge has deputies searching for 3 teens caught on camera kicking doors on homes.
And the sheriff says one wrong house could really turn deadly. We have his warning coming up next.
President Trump wraps up his 2-day trip to China. I'm Natalie Brand with why both leaders call it historic and what President Trump is saying about tensions over Taiwan.
2 students are facing charges after police say each brought a gun to a different high school campus. I'm your Seminole County community correspondent Mark Lehman. Coming up, the increased security and what a judge ordered in each case.
Welcome back. We're following several top stories for you right now.
First, a sinkhole in Maitland causing some detours this afternoon. This sinkhole was first discovered around midnight on Wymore Road. Now, less than 24 hours, it has doubled in size, measuring about 40 feet wide. Crews are now closely watching it, but cannot fully assess the sinkhole until it is stabilized. There are detour signs to help you get around it. Orange County Public Works says the road will likely stay closed this weekend. The man accused of ambushing a Marion County deputy will be staying in jail. This body cam footage caught the stabbing of the attacker. Alberto Medina Marquez appeared in court this morning and was denied bond. He is being charged with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. His next court date is scheduled for June 16th. In Orange County, a manslaughter plea deal is derailed after the defendant suddenly fires his attorney. Savion Lambert is ditching his lawyer and thus dropping his plea deal. Lambert is accused of shooting and killing Carlos Perez in Winter Garden in 2024. Perez's family is happy about today's outcome in court, saying they want a trial.
We're learning about the two students accused of bringing guns to campus at two different schools. We told you about this as breaking news yesterday at 4. Investigators found the guns at both Seminole and Lyman high schools. Your Seminole County community correspondent Mark Lehman is learning what charges the teens are facing and what happens next.
On Friday, classes went on as scheduled here at Lyman High, although with a heightened sense of awareness. It's a relief for a lot of parents who got these alerts after a gun was reported here and at Seminole High School. Meanwhile, the teens who police say had those weapons will remain in custody.
I'm assuming he is under the department's supervision.
We were in juvenile court as both teen suspects accused of bringing a gun to school appeared before a judge. He ordered the same for each student and set hearings for next month.
I'm going to go ahead and make a finding of probable cause, order that he remain in secure detention.
Friday morning, we saw an increased presence of law enforcement at Seminole High School. A day earlier, the campus was put on lockdown after a student told administrators that a classmate had a gun on campus. Police eventually finding the 17-year-old hiding in a closet and arrested him after they say a firearm was in his bag. Around the same time, a similar situation was happening at Lyman High School. After receiving a tip, a resource officer said he found a 16-year-old student with a handgun and extended magazine in his bag. According to the arrest report, the teen sent a picture to a friend with the caption, "I'll protect you." In response to both incidents, the school district sent a message to parents saying in part, while there was no indication of an intent to harm in these instances, to be very clear, the presence of a weapon on school grounds is dangerous, unacceptable, and a felony offense. With all this, the district is urging parents to make sure any weapons at home are securely locked away and unable to be accessed by children. They also say this serves as a reminder for students to use the Fortify Florida app to report anything suspicious. In Seminole County, I'm your community correspondent Mark Lehman, News 6.
Well, this afternoon, police told us they arrested another student accused of tampering with a witness. This is related to the student accused of having a gun on Seminole High School's campus. The police chief says bullying someone for reporting a serious crime will also not be tolerated. Meantime, today the governor signed a new school safety bill into law. It made several changes, including allowing employees at universities in the school guardian program if appointed by the university president. It also prohibits people from firing a gun within 1,000 feet of a school during school hours. Promotes universities to use the suspicious activity reporting tool at Fortify Florida you were just hearing about. And it requires student behavior records to be transferred from schools to the Florida college system. The new law takes effect immediately.
President Trump is headed back to Washington after a 2-day trip to China. CBS's Natalie Brand has details on the high-stakes summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Presidents Trump and Xi took part in a garden tour, tea ceremony, and second day of talks before a formal send-off, both leaders touting a historic trip.
President Xi's an incredible guy. Got along, made a lot of great trade deals.
President Trump says China has agreed to buy more farm products, 200 Boeing airplanes, and even U.S. energy. The president also confirmed they discussed Taiwan, a flashpoint since Beijing claims the self-governing island as its own.
I think the last thing we need right now is a war. That's 9,500 miles away. I think that's the last thing we need. We're doing very well.
Would the U.S. defend Taiwan if it came to it?
I don't want to say. I'm not going to say that.
The president said he would make a decision soon on a previously approved multi-billion-dollar defensive arms package for Taiwan. Lawmakers have questioned why the president is stalling.
The State Department brought something to Congress
We made a decision on it quickly, and the president is the one that's holding it up.
Look, we got to arm Taiwan so they can defend themselves for deterrence against. Chairman Xi is obviously very aggressive, and he showed that at the summit.
The U.S. conflict with Iran was also in focus since China is Iran's largest trading partner. But President Trump said he doesn't need Xi's help.
I'm not asking for any favors, because when you ask for favors, you have to do favors in return. We don't need favors.
Iran said Friday it doesn't trust the Americans and appreciates the diplomatic help of others.
Chinese have a good intention, so anything that can be done by them to help.
But the standoff in negotiations remains over Iran's enriched uranium.
We want to bring in Natalie Brand live in Washington, D.C. this afternoon. Natalie, what else did the president say about negotiations with Iran, and where do they go from here?
Yeah, that's the big question, Ginger. President Trump on Air Force One told reporters that he's losing patience with Iran. He's expressed that they still have not moved far enough on the issue of nuclear. Iran continues to insist that it has a right to enrich uranium. And the president was, interestingly enough, asked about this discussion of a 20-year moratorium on enriching nuclear material. And the president said he would be okay with that if he felt like there was a real commitment from Tehran. Now, that remains to be seen, and also important to note that some over in Congress, namely Senator Lindsey Graham, say any sort of moratorium or temporary pause just doesn't go far enough. But this discussion over what's next is really what the president returns to later this evening when he arrives back into Washington.
Yeah, it's a big question. What other big issues were discussed between Presidents Trump and Xi?
Artificial intelligence is one of them. The president confirming that he talked to Xi about this topic and possibly working together on guardrails for AI and potential, risks in the future. Another big one was the country's nuclear program, and the president bringing up arms control, the desire to have an agreement between the U.S., Russia, and China to try to cap nuclear arsenals. And this is significant, Ginger, because the Pentagon says China is rapidly growing its nuclear arsenal and estimates it could have 1,000 nuclear weapons by 2030, Ginger.
I think that's a number that's startling to a lot of people hearing that for the first time. Natalie Brand, live in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
All right, now to a heartbreaking update from the Central Florida Zoo tonight. We just got it. Mr. Ginger, the critically ill sloth that captured national attention, has now died. Despite round-the-clock veterinary care, he was the youngest of the rescued sloths from the shuttered Orlando facility known as Sloth World. At least 56 sloths have now died following imports for the planned attraction. Animal health officials say they're committed to caring for the remaining animals still under veterinary supervision. Now to a warning for parents and kids. Deputies say they're searching for 3 teens accused of kicking in front doors of homes in Deltona. This happened earlier this week at the area around Normandy Boulevard and Elkham Boulevard. It's part of a social media challenge, but the sheriff is again warning it could have some deadly consequences. He posted online saying Floridians have the right to defend their homes, and while you can recover from young, dumb mistakes, a bullet to the chest might be a consequence you can't overcome. In that same post, he shared this conversation a deputy had with a 12-year-old who was arrested for a door-kicking challenge in Deltona over the weekend.
You're gonna be fine, okay? This is just a lesson we learn, right? Not to knock on doors and do dumb stuff, right?
The sheriff says the boy told detectives he was bored, and that's why he did it. Earlier this year, we told you about a 14-year-old arrested in a door kick challenge that ended with a dog escaping and dying. That happened in December. The little Yorkie named Spooky got out through the front door. A neighbor found him after he was hit and killed by a car.
I don't care about my door. Y'all can break my windows. I care less about that. But he didn't deserve to, he didn't deserve that.
The woman said her home security cameras didn't catch the incident itself, though they did record a still photo of teens on her front porch. She also came home to find her door frame damaged. Her dog, Spooky, was just 3 years old at the time. Well, a viral post claims the governor signed a bill making driving with no destination illegal.
One problem, it's not real. What you need to watch out for coming up. And Central Florida's drought is getting worse, and now new restrictions are in place. What this means for you and what would have to happen for those restrictions to actually go away. That's next.
And Ginger, this is a big reason why, just encased an entire state of dry air, and this dry air is not really going anywhere. And just to bust our drought, the amount of rainfall we need over the next 3 months is astronomical. I'll let you know what that number is after the break.
And as we head to break, we want to remind you there is more to watch on News 6 Plus. Get caught up on Central Florida's weather and news at a time that works for you at 9 o'clock every night. Or go on patrol with Trooper Steve. Get clear on Florida politics from Politically Motivated and celebrate the best of Central Florida with Are We There Yet? With the News 6 Insiders. You can watch it all right now. Just get the News 6 Plus app loaded on your smart TV. You can download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Original Mattress Factory.
Well, in parts of Central Florida, it just might be an option for a restaurant to not serve complimentary water unless you ask for it.
So it's all apparently because of the extreme drought season, and it's leading to new water use restrictions. News 6's Ashley Garrett explains.
Water supply, flood protection, water quality, and natural systems.
Clay Corsi with the St. Johns River Water Management District says those are the agency's 4 core missions, now under pressure as Central Florida's drought deepens. Lake County, the latest area declared extreme.
We have a water shortage declaration, not just in Lake County, but extending up to where the St. Johns River Water Management District jurisdiction ends in Nassau and Baker County with the border with Georgia.
Low rainfall driving the shortage. Flagler and Marion counties also in phase 3, prompting tighter rules.
We wanted our messaging to be very clear so that if you went from one county to another, you weren't hearing different things.
The biggest change? Lawn watering. Instead of twice a week, the district is limiting landscape irrigation to 1 day a week to reduce stress on the aquifer, which supplies drinking water. Some residents blame growth.
The development is not the driver behind this. Really, the driver behind it is those deficit rainfall conditions.
Corsi says restrictions could ease later this summer if conservation efforts and rainfall make a significant difference.
Ashley Garrett, News 6.
So when it comes to whether restaurants in Central Florida phase 3 zones possibly stop providing water unless a customer asks, the district says it's not a part of their rules in place, but if restaurants were to do so, they would have the district's full support.
All right, and as we were going to break, meteorologist Jordan Patrick was teasing us with some numbers and how much rain we would actually need to bust this drought. You have our attention.
Do you guys want to take a guess?
A lot.
4 gallons.
4 gallons.
Well, we're measuring in feet, Matt.
Yes.
Okay, all right, let's go feet. I think I would say 3 feet of water.
Did you see my graphic?
No, I haven't seen the graphic.
You're actually very close. So we have actually had about 5¼ inches of rain so far this year, since January 1st. Matt, we need 32 inches of rainfall, just under 3 feet, over the next 3 months in order to finally wipe this thing out of here and get that aquifer replenished. But fortunately, since we are moving into an El Nino year later on this summer, that does typically translate to a wetter pattern over the state of Florida, which means we could get a little bit more rainfall than usual this summer season. Definitely going to be some welcome news. But for now, we are just encased in all of this dry air. I've been showing this all afternoon because this really is the big story for the entire state of Florida, not helping our drought situation at all. Moving into this weekend, though, we'll start to see a little bit more shower activity. But for this afternoon, it is nothing but sunshine and puffy fair weather clouds out there. 91 degrees in the city of Orlando as we stare out through the lens of our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Sky camera. A gorgeous afternoon. It is hot, but at least silver lining, the dew point is very low. So humidity is fairly comfortable out there. That will start to change this evening, though. Notice tonight our winds out of the east. That's going to grab a little bit more moisture from the Atlantic waters, which means a little bit more humidity starting to funnel into Central Florida, and low temperatures not quite as low. So we'll do low 70s tonight for the I-4 corridor. If you're towards I-75 and just north up into Marion County, we'll do mid and upper 60s. And along the coastline, Cape Canaveral down towards Melbourne, we're seeing those temperatures into the upper 70s this evening because of that onshore flow. Now we're going to start to introduce a little bit more moisture this weekend, not a lot on your Saturday. So we're only talking a few sprinkles, mainly along the I-75 corridor Saturday afternoon. So any plans on Saturday, especially on the beaches, should be a-okay. Just keep in mind, we do have a high rip current risk. Moving into your Sunday, though, a little bit more moisture starts to knock on our doorstep. That's going to translate to a stronger sea breeze, which means a little bit better coverage of those showers and thunderstorms on Sunday afternoon. However, I do think this model is overdoing it a little bit, but rain chances will be slightly better on your Sunday. So for Saturday, we are talking a great pool afternoon. It will be on the hot and steamy side. Showers will be late in the afternoon and mainly to the west of I-4. So those pool conditions looking great. On Sunday, we'll still call it good, but the shower conditions are going to be a little bit more favorable across Central Florida into the afternoon. So Sunday will take an early afternoon pool day, but rain chances not extremely high, only 20% on Saturday. Ginger and Matt, we're going to do up to 30% Sunday into early next week. Temperatures right where they should be, though, into the upper 80s to low 90s.
All right, we need any rain we can get. Jordan,
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, next month marks 10 years since the Pulse nightclub mass shooting that took 49 lives. So join us Monday night at 7 for After Pulse, 10 years of healing and change. Julie Broughton will host a live town hall on the state of the LGBTQ community in Central Florida, and you can watch and participate on clickorlando.com and our Facebook and YouTube channels. And while you're scrolling on social media, don't fall for the fake press release claiming aimless driving is illegal starting this very day.
It's getting the clicks. We'll show you the post and the blunt response from the governor. That is next. And here's a live look at Mount Dora. You're watching News 6. We are live on a Friday.
I believe it.
The weekend is here. We'll be right back.
So a school bus stops for railroad crossing. Am I required to stop also? Hey, great question. And the answer is no, not always. So here in Florida, school buses are actually required to stop at railroad crossings, period, even if there are no kids on board. It's a safety procedure required under both state and federal regulations. So they got a lot of rules to follow. Now, here's the important part for you, the driver. If that bus is stopped at the tracks but does not have its red lights flashing or the stop arm extended, then you're not required to stop behind it. You have to, though, proceed with some caution, right? Obviously. But the second those red lights come on out or that stop bar swings out, different story here, okay? So when you're required, then you're required to stop just like any normal school bus under Florida law. So don't panic when that bus stops at the railroad tracks. They're not necessarily picking up some kids. They're just making sure everybody gets across safely. If you've got a traffic safety question, you want me to answer it, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve. Well,
a lot of people are talking about this on clickorlando.com and have Have you seen it on Facebook? It looks like an official press release, and we know what they look like. We get them all the time from the governor. But this one bans joyriding in the state. It's so ridiculous.
So it makes it seem like the governor signed a bill into Florida law, House Bill 626. Should have been House Bill 6767 or something like that.
No,
Post
no, it
warns
shouldn't.
Violators may face a $1,000 fine if they're caught driving with no destination. I don't know if you'd have to have it like logged in your navigation or something. It says the new law goes into effect today. And it quotes the governor. Heads up though, of course it's fake. There's no House Bill 626 on record this year. House bills are typically odd numbers, so maybe look for that. They're not even numbers usually. The governor responded to the fake press release on X. He said, if you're dumb enough to think that is authentic, then you are too dumb to be driving a car. What do you think about this? Have you seen the post? Share your thoughts with us in this story on clickorlando.com. It's a really good way to, what do they call it? Engagement farming, when they just put a crazy post out there and they're hoping you say something about it.
And a lot of people have been saying things about it because they believed it.
I think it's real.
It's sad. All right, News 6 at 5 is next.
A Maitland driver says she thought she hit something, but instead dropped into a sinkhole that opened up right in the middle of the night. Coming up, we're learning about the expanding road damage on Wymore Road.
And a sentencing hearing turned upside down. The man accused of killing a Winter Garden dad drops his 20-year plea deal in open court and fires his lawyer. What this surprise move means for the case, that's coming up. And your forecast is just moments away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at beautiful Daytona Beach. You can do it for free anytime on News 6 Plus. It's Friday, and we are coming right back.
Now at 5, a Central Florida manslaughter case takes a sharp turn inside the courtroom, just as a major deal was about to be accepted. Why the defendant walked away from his attorney at the last minute. Plus,
an image of Adolf Hitler featured during a high school morning announcement. The results of an investigation coming up.
And a big sinkhole causing traffic headaches for drivers.
My whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
We're hearing from a woman who says she drove right into it. You're watching News 6 at 5.
And we're staying on top of breaking news at 5. That heartbreaking update from the Central Florida Zoo. Mr. Ginger, one of those critically ill sloths that captured national attention, has now died despite round-the-clock veterinary care. He was the youngest of the rescued sloths, the littlest guy from that shuttered Orlando facility known as Sloth World. At least 56 sloths have now died after imports for the planned attraction. Animal health officials are now saying they're committed to caring for the remaining animals, still under veterinary supervision. A sentencing hearing scheduled to wrap up a manslaughter case took an unexpected turn inside an Orange County courtroom, stalling before a final decision could be reached.
Yeah, a plea deal was withdrawn, leaving the case in limbo for now. Savion Lambert was expected to receive a 20-year sentence, but instead told the judge he no longer wanted his lawyer or that agreement. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti was inside the courtroom as the case took that unexpected turn.
You're saying you don't want your lawyer anymore, and you don't want the deal. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It's not the deal, it's really the lawyer.
That was Savion Lambert ditching his lawyer and thus backing off of a plea deal that would have resulted in a 20-year prison sentence. All of this unfolding in a courtroom right in front of the family of the man Lambert is accused of killing.
The best day of my life. I am so happy with the outcome. This is my brother.
Her brother was Carlos Perez, shot and killed in 2024. And according to this criminal complaint, Lambert had claimed it was an accident.
Withdrawn in the admission as well.
Perez's family argues the evidence suggests otherwise. Either way, there was a plea deal on the table, one that Perez's family never got behind. They want a trial.
I want this case removed out of Orange County. This is a joke. They don't know how to handle this case. This case has been jeopardized, and I want it out.
That sentiment mirrors criticism we heard from Attorney General James Uthmeier, who just this week posted this video to X bashing State Attorney Monique Worrell for the fact that in 2022, Lambert received a youth offender sentence of probation on a carjacking charge.
State Attorney Worrell's obvious pattern or practice of leniency on violent and deadly criminals must end.
In a statement, Worrell's office says in part that Lambert received that youthful offender sentence through a plea directly to the bench, with the sentence imposed entirely at the court's discretion. Her office did not, however, respond to our question about Perez's family wanting the case moved out of Orange County. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Now at 5, it's not your average Starlink launch. Hoping to get off the ground tonight in just under an hour. SpaceX has given it another try for a resupply mission for the International Space Station. Here's a video from earlier in the week when it was put off with less than 30 seconds left in the countdown. It was because of weather. You could see why right there with that cloud deck. Now SpaceX is going to try again tonight at 6:05. You might hear a sonic boom because those boosters will turn around and they'll land again at the Cape. And right now it's looking pretty good weather for the launch. If you're planning to head out to the beach this weekend, we are expecting these conditions to stick around.
Yeah, so you're looking at a live pic over Daytona Beach right now. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now with what we can expect. Jonathan.
Yeah, if you're heading to the beach, watch out for the rip current risk. The breeze is going to be out of the east. That always increases that rip current risk. A 90% shot for that rocket to get off the ground tonight. So hopefully a nice clear shot. Again, it will be a clear shot if you're looking east tonight. Hanging around 90 in Titusville, 87 in Oviedo, a little toasty in Leesburg. We're back to the upper 80s. Comfortable, though. We don't have that rich humidity back just yet. That is something that is gradually going to change, especially by the second half of the weekend. You're going to feel that extra moisture surging in, which will give us a slightly better chance to get a round of thunderstorms in here, at least for parts of Central Florida for the weekend. Right now, you see it all that orange on your screen there. That's the water vapor imagery showing us the amount of moisture at about 15,000 feet above your head. And anything that would try to get going today downpour-wise would be gobbled up by all of that drier air. There's some extra moisture closer to Texas that tries to stream in over the next couple of days to help set the stage anyway for a few more scattered thunderstorms in the mix. We'll talk about that and give you that timeline for your outdoor weekend plans coming up at about 5:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, an image of Adolf Hitler featured during the morning announcement.
The school district has completed its investigation into what happened months ago at Osceola High School. News 6 investigator Erica Bergoglio has the findings.
According to this letter obtained by News 6, a media specialist received a written reprimand for the video showing Adolf Hitler giving a Nazi salute. It was part of a Today in History segment during the morning announcements. We blurred part of that video because it shows swastikas and other imagery some may find offensive.
Good morning, Cowboys. Today is Friday, January 30th. Today in history, 1939, Adolf Hitler threatened Jews during his speech to the German Reichstag Parliament.
This video was played during the morning announcements at Osceola High School in late January. The image of Hitler showed during the Today in History segment before moving on to other school news and events. According to this discipline letter obtained by News 6, the staff member independently created and published the video, which was seen by students, staff, and the community. The video was deleted but led to complaints, prompting an investigation into violating state and district policies for appropriate instructional content and professional responsibilities. The letter states the image of Hitler was displayed before a written historical explanation without appropriate context. Now, according to this letter, the staff member cannot publish or select any historical images or content in the morning announcements without prior administrative review or approval, or face possible suspension or termination. Erica Bergoglio, News 6.
New at 5, we just got the arrest affidavit of the man accused of secretly recording customers inside a public restroom. And investigators say even more charges could be coming. Police say 27-year-old Nicholas Esparza is charged with digital voyeurism. Court records show a worker first discovered the device on March 22nd, then again on March 25th, and once more on April 28th. Investigators say video from one of the devices appears to show dozens of people recorded, including a juvenile, in various states of undress. The affidavit also links the suspect to the device through surveillance, vehicle information, and the phone number used in connection with this case. Authorities say more charges could still be added as additional possible victims are identified. A beloved Sanford restaurant is closing its doors after 13 years, but the owner says this is not the end of the story for the local favorite. Chantel's Just Until Restaurant and Lounge is serving its final meals after owner Chantel Williams announced the restaurant will close in its current form. The decision comes just days after Williams was released from the hospital. This is following a serious bike week crash that left her with multiple major injuries. Customers stopped by for one last meal as word spread through the community that Sanford spot would be shutting down. But Williams says this is not a complete goodbye, and the restaurant will return in a new form with a new partner.
It's not the last day. It's the last day of Chantel's Just Until how we know it.
She says she still owns the property and will stay involved even as she continues recovering from her injuries. The rebranded restaurant could open as early as next month.
Well, a newly opened sinkhole is causing traffic trouble, and experts say it's continuing to grow. This afternoon, we learned it's now about 40 feet wide, double the size it was when we learned about it just this morning. It's all happening on Wymore Road in Maitland. News 6's Catherine Silver has been there all day long, and that's where she joins us live now. So, Catherine, crews are working really hard on this, right?
Yeah, they brought in some heavy machinery to put these concrete barriers in behind me. There were also geotechnical crews out here doing assessments earlier this afternoon. Now, the latest measurement we have for you for this sinkhole is that it is now about 40 by 44 feet wide. When it first formed overnight, there were cars that were still driving through here. Our News 6 team spoke with one woman who drove one of the last cars to get through. A mess in Maitland, where this sinkhole appeared on Wymore Road around midnight.
I was screaming and hollering on the phone. I said, I think I hit somebody.
Demetria Hauser says she dropped down and drove right through it.
Kept hitting the gas. It took a little minute.
She didn't get out without damage.
My whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
Hauser says in the dark, she and other drivers just didn't see it. In the daylight, you can see how the depression now stretches across both lanes, and crews closely watching it say it's expanding.
Because of that, we can't really begin to assess any further or really even look at the repairs until the sinkhole has been stabilized.
Orange County Public Works says an in-depth assessment will determine exactly what's happening underground. And when they know that, then they will know the next steps.
It's Central Florida. We all know we have sinkholes. We're in a drought, so it's not hard to imagine that this could happen. But without that ground penetrating radar report and without having their full assessment, we just don't know.
So we will wait and see. In the meantime, Orange County Public Works says they plan on keeping this road closed through the weekend. There are detours in place. Just plan ahead for traffic during peak travel times. I'm live in Maitland. Catherine Silver, News 6.
All right, Catherine, thank you. A big honor in St. Cloud for the police officers who jumped into action to rescue 6 people from a sinking boat. We showed you this incredible video from Lake Toho just a couple of weeks ago when the boat started taking on water in rough weather. 2 St. Cloud officers who are a father-son team immediately started to help when they found that family in distress. They were recognized last night during the county commission meeting.
We're blessed to have such a great training team and such a great administration that backs us and believes in us. And as I said, with all of those things came a rescue rather than a recovery.
We're told the family they rescued is doing okay.
Glad to hear it. After months of heavy machinery and pipelines stretching along New Smyrna Beach, the work to rebuild the shoreline is finally wrapping up.
Coming up, how this project is expected to change the coast just in time for the summer season.
You're watching News 6 at 5 with a live look at Port Canaveral from our Launch Credit Union camera. It is a nice looking day out there. Hopefully it's good enough for a launch. We'll be right back.
I'm Molly Reed, your Volusia County community correspondent. A major 5-month-long project here in New Smyrna on the beach to dredge sand and re-nourish the beaches is finally over. So right now during the day, to get this off the beach, that big machinery down there is lifting the pipes up, unscrewing them, and then overnight and in the early morning hours, another crew will be coming out here, dragging the pipes out to sea and put them on a barge to take them out of here.
It is good to re-nourish and bring all the sand back in, but at the same time, kind of pulling up to the beach and seeing all the pipes is something you don't want to see.
The county hopes to have this project completely off the beach by Memorial Day weekend. Once the pipes are gone, the county will put plants back in the dunes. Since January, it was dredging sand from a nearby area and pumping it along 4 miles of New Smyrna's beaches from north of Flagler Ave down south to almost Bethune Beach.
We have a beautiful berm that stays dry during high tide.
Jessica Fentress is the county's coastal director. She says major hurricanes over the last 5 years washed away most of the sand that was here, leaving high tides that would hit the seawalls and little dunes that would protect the coastline.
Sand is sacrificial. The reason that we place this sand on the beach is not only as a buffer from storm events on our shoreline, but it also provides critical nesting habitat for our sea turtles and our resting shorebirds.
Fentress says they actually ran out of sand to pump into the southern end of New Smyrna in this project, but will circle back to it soon.
We wouldn't commit to that until we worked out the financials, and none of that would begin until after November 1st, which is when sea turtle nesting closes.
Now, there is another major beach renourishment project already on the books, the county says. This one will be in 2027, where they will be targeting the beaches along Ponce Inlet. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Molly Reed, News 6.
All right, anytime we hear that the beaches are, the beaches are getting in better shape and we're improving it is great news, because that is one, we love it, and it's a moneymaker for us. Let's just be honest. People love coming to Florida because this is what we do here.
Those
All right.
nice wide beaches.
Wonderful. All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kekes joins us now. We're not looking at the beach. We're looking at downtown Orlando right now.
We are looking at downtown, but if you're heading to the beach this weekend, that should be the driest side of Central Florida over the next couple of days. Here's a live look with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam tonight. We just have a few of those puffy clouds out there. Those will go down as soon as the sun goes down tonight, and we will have a nice clear evening. Should be a fantastic night to start your weekend. We're back to the upper 80s right now. The breeze out of the east-northeast will elevate tonight at about 15 to 20 miles an hour again. We'll likely watch that breeze come down significantly again as the sun goes down the horizon. 90 degrees in the Villages right now. Actual air temperature in New Smyrna at 82. We are at 84 degrees in Melbourne, back to the mid-80s just south of us in Melbourne, back to Palm Bay. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start things off into the low to mid-70s, so a touch of extra humidity. It's still not going to be anything too crazy, but it will be a little bit warmer when you wake up tomorrow morning. Should be a very nice morning once again to hang out outside and again get your weekend underway. Now tomorrow afternoon, stray downpour is going to be possible, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder. These are going to focus themselves west of Orlando and closer to us along the I-75 corridor. Really the same deal for Sunday, except that chance goes up just a little bit to 30%. A couple of thunderstorms mainly west of Orlando again, and focusing on the Gulf side, I-75 and points to the west. I'll show you that right here. High resolution future radar. Don't think these showers are here. We talked about this yesterday, and we showed you a little earlier in the show that the air is just so dry that anything that tries to get forced up by the heating of the day is just going to get gobbled up by the dry air that's overhead. There we go towards the early morning. We're looking pretty good. Couple of stray downpours trying to pop as we get into the early afternoon. And then here's that focal point late tomorrow afternoon into the evening. That's 5 to 7 o'clock tomorrow. And then once we get into Sunday, that's going to increase a little bit more. That is the West Coast sea breeze firing up with the heating of the day. A taste of the wet season, I think, coming our way this weekend, and then the humidity starts to go up. We are getting closer to that. 7 to 8 o'clock on Sunday. Again, I think once we get to areas of Apopka, Orlando, Kissimmee, and points to the west, that will be your best opportunity again for scattered thunderstorms into the evening. High pressure overhead now really departing the southeast corner of the United States. We are under the influence of that. And that is one of the reasons why we have gotten a little more comfortable, certainly a little more humid than yesterday, with dew point temperatures back into the 60s. So you can feel a little more humidity out there, but still nothing too crazy, certainly nothing like the last couple of days. That trend, though, continues to go up as we move over the weekend, pushing that 70-degree dew point. And once you get into the 70s, it really starts to feel a little soupy. The mid-70s, for perspective, is basically what we have every single day once we get to the middle part of June, July, August. Low to mid-70s on Wednesday and Thursday. Looks like we could have a little bit of extra drier air coming in on Friday to characterize the wet season. Those dew point temperatures need to be at or above 70 really for the foreseeable future, and we still have a little bit of frontal passage out there as we get towards the end of next week. 30% shot for thunderstorms on Sunday. Again, that's mainly to the west. We'll keep that 30% shot rolling through the rest of the work week. There you go. Those afternoon thunderstorms, they are starting to creep back into the forecast. It looks like this weekend may do a number on trying to induce the wet season, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way.
Well, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, of course we have you covered.
Yeah, coming up, we'll show you 6 can't-miss events across Central Florida so you can pick the perfect plan for you and your family. And this is a live look. It's over downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
Weekend evening traffic alert. You can see those lane closures all over the place, especially up here on the northern portion of the Florida Turnpike, close to Montverde, Claremont, and then down here towards the Champions Gate area. I sound like a parrot, but if I don't tell you, then you're going to complain about it. So just make sure you're paying attention. And then I-4 east and westbound between the Florida Turnpike and down here towards State Road 528. And then some overnight stuff along 408 towards the Pine Hills area. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you Monday morning.
Looking for something fun to do this weekend? Well, make sure you're staying hydrated if you're out and about. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan here at Lock Haven Park, where the Orlando Fringe Festival will be happening now through May 25th. I spoke to Tempest, the artistic director, about what you can expect.
We have our outdoor stage and lawn, so we have about 35 different food vendors. We have a complete open bar. We have programming on the outdoor stage that's completely free. Come as you are. Everyone is just here to have fun, to connect, to engage, to find find their community. So it is just so open. Everyone is here to have a good time.
Another event to check out is the 5th annual Sanford's Ride to Freedom, Saturday from 7 to 5 p.m. This family-friendly bike ride honors Florida's Emancipation Day with a scenic 12-mile route through historic Central Florida communities. Fun for all ages and skill levels. Check out the Sand and Sun Festival Saturday from 10 to 5 p.m. in downtown Ocala. Enjoy giant sand sculptures, live music, food trucks, artisan vendors, and fun activities for the kids. Military and Veterans Appreciation Day at Lou Gardens is Saturday from 9 to 5 p.m. Active duty military members and veterans can enjoy free admission and a relaxing day surrounded by beautiful scenery. Orlando City takes on Atlanta United Saturday night at Interco Stadium with kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Expect an electric atmosphere and non-stop soccer action. The Asian Cultural Festival happens Sunday from 3 to 8 p.m. at Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This free event features cultural performances, music, dance, art, and delicious foods from across Asian communities.
And if you have a fun event happening in your town next weekend, let me know. To submit your event, you can head over to clickorlando.com or our new 6 app, Just Tap Contact Us.
Well, a multi-billion-dollar ballpark deal without taking money from police, fire, or any other services.
Coming up, we'll show you the new price tag for keeping the Rays in Tampa and how much city and county taxpayers would really pay. First, though.
The man accused of stabbing a Marion County deputy is being held without bond. I'm News 6's Amy Russo. Coming up, what we're now learning about his criminal history.
Here's a live look at Daytona Beach. Pretty nice evening. They might get to see a launch in about 40 minutes. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Glad you're with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5, and we're following several top stories for you right now. A heartbreaking update from the Central Florida Zoo. Mr. Ginger, the youngest of the rescued sloths from that shuttered Orlando facility known as Sloth World, has died. At least 56 sloths have now died following imports for the planned attraction. Animal health officials say they're committed to caring for the remaining animals still under veterinary supervision.
A manslaughter case takes a stunning turn inside an Orange County courtroom. The defendant fired his attorney and walked away from a plea deal that would have sent him to prison for 20 years. Savion Lambert made the announcement during what was supposed to be his sentencing hearing in the 2024 shooting death of Carlos Perez in Winter Garden. The victim's family celebrated that decision, and they say they want the case to go to trial.
A massive sinkhole has shut down Wymore Road in Maitland, and officials say it's still growing. The hole opened overnight and has now expanded to about 40 feet wide, stretching across both lanes. Crews spent the day testing the ground for a possible void under the road. Officials expect Wymore Road to remain closed through the weekend.
An attack caught on body cam. The man accused of ambushing a Marion County deputy, then stabbing him, will be held on no bond.
Yeah, he had his first court appearance this morning. News 6's Amy Russo was in court when the judge made her decision.
When the court was addressing the suspect, that's Heriberto Medina Marquez, when they were talking about his criminal history, he had an outburst. And get this, prosecutors say this is not his first time being violent with law enforcement.
That was my car.
I'll let you explain. Give me 1 second.
That was 38-year-old Heriberto Medina Marquez interrupting when his criminal history was read aloud at his first court appearance Friday morning.
Resisting an officer with violence from 2015. Resisting an officer with violence from 2015. Battery on a law enforcement officer from 2011.
Medina Marquez notably in a wheelchair now. When given the chance to speak, this is what he said.
It seems that you wanted to say something about one of the charges that the state attorney...
No, I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you. I don't want to talk about it. I already told you.
Medina Marquez has been charged with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer after this.
Hey, buddy. Hey!
On Wednesday evening, Marion County Deputy Robert Fitch was responding to a call of a suspicious person in Dunellen. Within seconds of getting out of his car, the deputy was attacked, thrown to the ground, and stabbed multiple times. Body cam footage capturing the disturbing event. Deputies say Medina Marquez then ran into the woods before another deputy arrived and took him into custody. Fitch's bulletproof vest credited with saving his life.
The fact that his life was spared is a blessing to us.
Medina Marquez's next court date is scheduled for June 16th at 9 a.m. It's for a felony arraignment. In Marion County, Amy Russo, News 6.
New at 5 now, an iconic piece of downtown Orlando history is back in the headlines tonight after police say a man tried to set fire to the Angebilt building. Orlando police arrested 23-year-old Timaeus Tillman after a fire broke out outside the historic Angebilt building early yesterday morning. Now, according to the arrest affidavit, surveillance video shows a man lighting pillows on fire and pushing them against a door in an alley off North Orange Avenue. The fire damaged the door and set off the building's sprinkler system. Officers say they found the suspect at a nearby smoke shop where they say he admitted to the fire and identified himself in the surveillance images. And it's not the first time fire has left a mark on this building. It was first opened as a luxury hotel in 1923, suffered a major fire in 1983. That damaged its top floors and forced hundreds of people out. While investigators say this latest incident caused limited damage, they say it could have been a lot worse. Tillman is facing several charges, including arson and criminal mischief.
Also new at 5, a legal fight in Volusia County over a proposed motocross park after an allegation tax dollars were misused to buy the land. The proposed site is in rural West Volusia County off State Road 44 in the DeLand and Lake Beresford area. Someone who lives in DeLand filed the lawsuit claiming the county improperly used conservation funding to help purchase nearly 400 acres there. County leaders are pushing back, though, saying the property was legally acquired through Volusia Forever and the environmental, cultural, historical, and outdoor or ECHO funds for both preservation and public recreation. The county has since asked a judge to dismiss the case as it moves forward.
Turning now to a developing public health scare with global reach as officials ramp up monitoring of that deadly hantavirus outbreak leaked to a cruise ship.
The CDC says it is now tracking 41 people across the country for signs of the virus, including American passengers evacuated from the ship. CBS's Lana Zak reports from Omaha, Nebraska, where more than a dozen people remain in quarantine.
How are you feeling? More than 120 passengers from the hantavirus hit cruise ship are now back in their home countries amid ongoing efforts to contain the outbreak.
The risk from this event to the global population is low.
On Friday, the World Health Organization adjusted the total number of cases linked to the ship from 11 to 10.
That included one individual who had an inconclusive test, and that was someone from the United States.
That person, Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, was moved from biocontainment into a quarantine unit at University of Nebraska Medical Center after 2 negative tests.
He's a hero in that he is a physician who stepped up when people needed him, and he did help provide care and assessment for individuals who were ill on the cruise ship.
The CDC is keeping a close eye on 41 people who may have been exposed, including the 18 American passengers quarantining here in Omaha. Health officials are also monitoring 7 other passengers who left the ship before the outbreak was declared, and an additional 16 people who may have been exposed during air travel to a symptomatic passenger from the cruise ship who later died.
We know how many people might be infected, and that's why we feel so strongly that we can, in working with governments, can really stop this.
The CDC says there are no known cases of hantavirus in the U.S., adding that the health and safety of U.S. residents is its top priority. Lana Zak, CBS News, Omaha, Nebraska.
New at 5, the ponds protecting some Winter Springs neighborhoods from flooding are getting a major cleanup. Starting Monday, crews will begin cleaning out years of built-up sediment and debris from stormwater ponds across Winter Springs. City leaders say the work is critical to keep water flowing properly, especially with hurricane season just around the corner. The project will target ponds near Deer Run Drive, Tioga Court, and the Solar Ray Canal over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Work crews will be out weekdays from 7 in the morning until 5 in the evening.
The Tampa Bay Rays could be one step closer to a massive deal to keep the team in the area for decades. City and county leaders say negotiations are moving fast, and the price tag for a new stadium district is still in the billions. But now it seems public safety funding for things like police and fire rescue would be protected, at least under the latest plan. As Chris Hurst reports, local leaders say they're really close to getting a deal done.
We're getting close. We're getting really close.
First, the Rays asked Tampa for $251 million from various local taxes, an amount that threw other projects like funding cops and firefighters in doubt.
It's going to be less than $200 million, maybe a little bit less than $190 million.
City Council Chairman Alan Clendenin says the city can afford that. Hillsborough County Chairman Ken Hagan told WDAE-FM the county is willing to contribute more, from $750 to nearly $800 million, which would be spread out over several years.
So they don't need to have all the money up front, but we can give it over 4 years, which allows us to not bond, and that will save significant interest and bonding costs.
The Rays would pay for more of the $2.3 billion cost of a new ballpark and a 130-acre residential and entertainment district, now between 55% and 60% of the total cost, plus any construction overruns.
We have a great new baseball ownership team. They came to the table ready to swing bats in Tampa, and they wanted to get a deal done.
Rays CEO Ken Babby telling 10 Tampa Bay News, paramount for the Tampa Bay Rays in this process was to arrive at an MOU that protects all public funding currently allocated for police, fire, emergency management, or response functions, or other previously committed public safety or service priorities. We have accomplished that important and unconditional goal.
You should feel good going to bed tonight because Major League Baseball is in our blood.
So that was Chris Hurst reporting. Leaders haven't released a final agreement yet, but both sides say they're optimistic a deal could come together in the weeks ahead. We'll let you know what happens.
Well, 2 green sea turtles are now back in the ocean, and we have new videos showing their send-up. I love seeing this. Sir Hook-a-Lot and Stag were found wrapped in fishing gear in 2 separate instances. They both underwent months-long recovery at the Sea Turtle Rehab Center in the Brevard Zoo. A special surprise also with this release, a 3rd turtle, Widgeon, was able to join his fellow.
Weirdest names.
I don't know why they named that one. He was able to join his fellow green sea turtles for the journey back into the ocean. We're just happy to see them back where they belong and healing and healthy and just doing well.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, 10 years after Pulse, Orlando doctors reveal the one thing no drill prepared them for.
It's not a question of if another event like this is going to occur. It's just a question of when.
How one night in Orlando silently rewrote emergency plans everywhere. Jonathan.
Nice, quiet evening coming our way tonight if you're getting ready to start your weekend. Temperatures a little bit warmer as we go for the weekend as well. We're going to talk about that in timeout rain chances at 5:47.
Plus, a teen takeover threat in Kissimmee is putting a roller rink on the police department's radar. The specific consequences teens could face if this crowd gets out of control.
There's more to watch on News 6 Plus. Get caught up on Central Florida's news and your weather patterns at 9 o'clock every night. Go on patrol with Trooper Steve. Get clear on Florida politics and celebrate the best of Central Florida with Are We There Yet and the News 6 Insiders. You can watch it all now. Just get the News 6 Plus app loaded on that smart TV.
Download our streaming app for free. Search WKNG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
When people think about Pulse, they of course think about the 49 lives lost and the survivors forever changed.
But trauma surgeons at Orlando Health say what happened inside their hospital that night transformed the way medical teams prepare for mass casualty events everywhere. New at 5, how the lessons learned at Pulse reshaped trauma response across the country.
A lot of my friends got shot. One shot in the stomach, one shot in the leg.
Tell all the units bringing in patients, only trauma alerts at this time.
It was a night that changed Orlando forever. Doctors say the impact of the Pulse nightclub shooting reached far beyond the lives saved inside the trauma bay. It changed how hospitals across the country prepare for mass shootings.
It's not a question of if another event like this is going to occur. It's just a question of when.
Today, hospitals around the world study the response to Pulse as part of disaster preparedness training.
Trauma is it's a team sport.
Doctors from Orlando Health say over these past 10 years, they have shared those lessons in hundreds of presentations.
The team here had given something like 600 different talks, trying to pass those lessons on.
Lessons born from chaos of what happened June 12, 2016.
I picked up the phone and he said, I have 20 gunshot wounds, I need you now.
Within minutes, victims from Pulse nightclub were flooding into Orlando Regional Medical Center. A trauma room built for 5 or 6 people suddenly held 12.
Beds oriented in different ways. We had to kind of get creative to get all of them in the trauma room because that's where most of our resources are for the most critically injured patients.
8 years after Pulse, Orlando Health unveiled its newly expanded Level 1 Trauma Center, which more than doubled the size of the trauma bay. And in a twist few people realized, doctors, nurses, and staff had unknowingly rehearsed for a night like Pulse just 3 months earlier.
The scenario that year was actually a mass shooter on the UCF campus.
That disaster drill sent hundreds of mock victims to hospitals across Central Florida. So when the real shooting happened, many of those lessons were immediately put to use.
And everyone kind of already knew what the plan was. And I have no doubt in my mind that that saved lives.
But Pulse also exposed gaps no training had fully prepared them for. How to care for terrified family members waiting outside.
Most disaster drills focus on how to take care of patients. Nobody ever talks about families. We had over 500 family members all wanting to know, how is my loved one?
For many of the people who worked that night, the emotional impact came later.
It had ongoing effects for months, I would say.
That experience pushed hospitals to expand mental health support for first responders and medical teams after major tragedies.
We counseled 1,500 team members in the next 10 days.
A decade later, the lessons of Pulse continue to shape how hospitals prepare for the unthinkable. Lessons written in loss and shared in the hope they may one day help save others. And be sure to join us Monday night at 7 for After Pulse, 10 Years of Healing and Change. Julie Broughton will host a live town hall on the state of the LGBTQ community in Central Florida. And you can watch and participate on clickorlando.com, the new 6+ streaming app for your smart TV, and our Facebook and YouTube channels. We certainly hope you join us for that important conversation.
A powerful story there, Gigi. Thank you. All right, let's get you to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas for a look. I know you want to know how the weekend is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have some plans, maybe outdoors. Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be rainy? What's going to happen?
A little bit of both, I think. It depends upon where you are, though, across the area. I think the better opportunity for some scattered thunderstorms will be to the west of Orlando over the next couple of days. Here's a live look outside Port Canaveral, Brevard County with our Launch Credit Union camera. Just a few of those puffy clouds as soon as we lose the sun. Those will come down, I think, a mainly clear, very nice evening coming your way to start your weekend. We're back to the mid-80s right now under that mainly clear sky. The breeze out of the east right now at about 10 miles an hour. Should be a fantastic launch weather-wise. Again, if you're looking to the east, inland, or at there closer to the spaceport, a 90% shot to get this thing off the ground in just about, 15 minutes, give or take. 84 degrees is going to be the air temperature. The breeze out of the east, again, at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, the hopeful launch coming up at about 6:05. 89 in Leesburg. We're at 87 in Oviedo. Titusville, good evening. We're back to around 90 degrees, 88 degrees in Kissimmee right now. We're going to keep the thermostat hanging right around the upper 80s as we get into the weekend as well, but a little bit warmer to start things off tomorrow. Upper 60s in Ocala and Denellen. Compare that to the lower 60s today. We're going to jump back into the lower 70s across most of the area, back to the upper 70s, even close to 80 degrees on the Space Coast. So a sign of the times again that humidity is starting to creep back in. For that, here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Warm tomorrow, a touch more humid. In Apopka, we're back to 89. Lake Catherine, good evening. We're back to around 90. Melbourne, we're checking in at 86 later tomorrow. We're at 92 in Webster. Lake Panasoffkee, we are at 91 tomorrow. Rain chances at 20%. with the better opportunity to see a thunderstorm tomorrow west of Orlando, closer to the I-75 corridor. Over the next 7 to 10 days, rain chances do start to creep back in. No doubt the highest chance for rain is going to still be off towards our north and west, but you do see here the chance is starting to go up and some better opportunities for accumulating rainfall, especially on the west side, the Gulf side of the state, with multiple rounds of rain as the sea breeze thunderstorms start to come back. A sign the wet season is very, very close. 7 to 8 o'clock as we move into the rest of this evening. Don't think that shower activity that pops up there is actually going to be there. The air is super dry. There's tomorrow afternoon, and I think right along the turnpike, that's the yellow line right there, we're starting to see a couple of very stray showers bubble up and then push toward the I-75 corridor. This is going to be your best chance again west of Orlando, west of the 429 even tomorrow, and then those will push to the west to the Gulf Coast. If you have plans out in that direction, closer to the Gulf, maybe St. Pete, Tampa, that's where we're going to be doing some dodging. The Atlantic side is going to be much quieter over the next couple of days. I think we are completely dry both Saturday and Sunday. The further east you are, closer to I-95 and the Atlantic beaches. 89 degrees on Sunday, 30% chance for thunderstorms. Again, those are also going to favor areas to the west of Orlando, 30% chance again on Monday, and then we keep those scattered thunderstorm chances with us through the bulk of the upcoming work week, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, teen takeovers are moving into Kissimmee.
After chaos in Daytona Beach and Icon Park, a local roller rink now prepares for a planned takeover. The new warning for parents and the one move police say could stop it before it starts.
Coming up on Monday, wild hogs tearing up a local neighborhood where homeowners say they're afraid to even walk their dog.
Plus, we're going to start this new week with storm chances in the forecast. Candace will have updates every 10 minutes.
Join us for News 6 Morning starting at 5.
A new push to take down teen takeovers. We've told you about these events recently where hundreds of teens gather at one spot, causing major disruptions in fights. And now police in Kissimmee are working to stop one event before it starts. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez. The owner of Skate Reflections in Kissimmee won't stand for a proposed takeover at the roller rink that started circulating on social media earlier this week. Teen takeovers have popped up all over Central Florida, from Daytona Beach to Icon Park. It's when thousands of teens show up to places after heavy online promotion. One Kissimmee community member has seen the images of teenagers getting into fights at these takeovers and doesn't want one in his city.
It's kind of like a takeover, it's just like start acting up.
But Skate Reflections is prepping for one. The business learned of a planned takeover on Saturday.
Does it concern you to hear that they might be doing one in Kissimmee?
Yes.
The skate rink has made it clear that they're family oriented and they won't tolerate any takeovers. They posted this on social media, adding that they will have extra security here to ensure that everyone is safe.
We've seen across communities disruptive gatherings and unsafe behavior that place people, businesses, and public safety resources at a risk.
The Kissimmee Police Department is trying to stop this from happening. The police chief posting a video on social media expressing how serious they are about this teen takeover.
I want to be very clear. Public safety remains our top priority. Unlawful, disruptive behavior that puts others at risk will absolutely not be tolerated in Kissimmee. Those who engage in criminal behavior will be held accountable.
The chief also talking directly to teens and their parents, asking for partnership as they combat these takeovers. The rink will be open on Saturday with that extra security. Meanwhile, they say the organizer of the event, who did it without their knowledge, is under investigation. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Coming up on News 6 at 6, more on our breaking news. Another sloth rescued from Sloth World has died.
Also ahead.
A sinkhole opens up and shuts down this road right next to I-4 in Maitland.
Oh, my whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
We're hearing from a woman who says she drove right into it.
And here's a live look from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. We are just 8 minutes away from a launch that will send some much needed supplies up to the International Space Station. That live launch is coming up.
All of a sudden, my car dropped down.
An Orange County road sinking into the ground.
The hole is getting deeper.
The traffic trouble you'll want to avoid this weekend.
I'm Molly Reed in New Smyrna, where a month-long project to dredge sand with these big pipes along the beach is finally over. We're going to walk you through what this project did and what it's going to look like once it's done.
I want to talk about it. I already told you.
Belligerent in court.
Hey, 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 hey!
Caught on tape stabbing a deputy. Watch what happened when he faced a judge. News 6 at 6 starts now. And this is a live look for you now at the Space Coast. We are just minutes away from a launch to resupply the International Space Station with that Falcon 9 there. We'll show you this live when it happens, scheduled for 6:05. But we begin with a sad update tonight on the sloth saga that has angered people all across Central Florida and, quite frankly, around the world.
Yeah, the smallest and youngest sloth taken from the now defunct Sloth World, Mr. Ginger, has died. News 6's Mike Valenti is live in our newsroom with the details on this. Mike, this is an update we feared might be coming.
Yeah, well, the Central Florida Zoo had said all week that Mr. Ginger was in very critical condition. And today, due to his extremely fragile condition, staff made the decision to humanely euthanize him. Mr. Ginger was in that extremely fragile condition when the zoo assumed custody of him and 12 other sloths that survived after being imported for the eventual opening of the Sloth World exhibit. It was supposed to open off I-Drive. At least 56 sloths associated with Sloth World have now died. Mr. Ginger is the fourth sloth to die while at the zoo, despite the zoo's veterinarians' efforts to provide intensive care. And we know so many of our viewers have been hanging on to every single update about the sloths ever since we first reported about the conditions that experts say contributed to many of these deaths. The zoo posted the update about Mr. Ginger late this afternoon, writing in part, quote, "He was a fighter and he held on despite the odds." The post goes on to say the zoo remains committed to caring for the rest of the sloths and they hope for brighter days ahead. Matt.
All right, Mike, thank you for the update. We have extensive coverage of the sloth saga on our website, clickorlando.com. Now let's get you to a big sinkhole that opened up in Maitland, and it just keeps growing. Right now it's about 40 feet wide. It's doubled in size in less than 24 hours. It's not only getting wider, it's actually getting deeper too. Wymore Road right here is closed in Maitland and probably will be for the rest of the weekend. The sinkhole is near Hope Road, right next to I-4. News 6's Catherine Silver has spent the day at the scene.
As crews get closer to finding out what's actually going on underground, this is as close as we can get you to the sinkhole, which is still growing. When it first formed overnight, cars were still driving through here. Our News 6 team spoke with one woman who says she thought she hit something at first, then she realized it was actually the sinkhole that she ran into. A mess in Maitland, where this sinkhole appeared on Wymore Road around midnight.
I was screaming and hollering on the phone. I said, I think I hit somebody.
Demetria Hauser says she dropped down and drove right through it.
Kept hitting the gas. It took a little minute.
She didn't get out without damage.
My whole car is messed up in the front. This is my front end of my car.
Hauser says in the dark, she and other drivers just didn't see it. In the daylight, you can see how the depression now stretches across both lanes, and crews closely watching it say it's expanding.
Because of that, we can't really begin to assess any further or really even look at the repairs until the sinkhole has been stabilized.
Orange County Public Works says an in-depth assessment will determine exactly what's happening underground. And when they know that, then they will know the next steps.
It's Central Florida. We all know we have sinkholes. We're in a drought, so it's not hard to imagine that this could happen. But without that ground penetrating radar report and without having their full assessment, we just don't know.
Orange County Public Works says this road will likely remain closed through the weekend. There are detours in place like Orinal Road. Just make sure you plan ahead during peak travel times. In Maitland, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
In just a few minutes, a special honor from this 13-year-old who was hit by a car and killed while riding his e-scooter. So this is Colton Remsburg.
Yeah, he died on Wednesday. Colton was a student at Innovation Middle School. Your Orange County community correspondent Troy Campbell is live in Lake Nona tonight for that tribute. Troy.
Yeah, it's all getting underway right here behind me. You can see just how large this crowd is. Players, students, parents all coming together to honor Colton. Now, Florida Highway Patrol says on Sunday, Colton was riding his e-bike along Moss Park Road when he was hit by a Dodge pickup truck. Colton was transported to Arnold Palmer Hospital with serious injuries, where he died several days later. The driver did remain on the scene and was uninjured. Orange County Public Schools says grief counselors have been available at Innovation Middle School, where Colton attended. We spoke with the president of Lake Nona Youth Sports, where Colton Remsburg played flag football. He says tonight is about both honoring Colton and also calling for safety changes for e-bikes.
It's absolutely been unbelievable to see this community come together and lift up Colton, lift up his family, his friends. It's been phenomenal. I think that it's important for the community to see that we're all together, we're united in an effort to affect change.
And we're going to head over there and also speak with some family members. We'll bring you updates tonight at 10 and 11. Live in Lake Nona, Troy Campbell, News 6. Back to you.
Troy, thank you. Let's get you out to the Cape for a live look now. This is Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, where a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is set to launch in just about 20 seconds. It'll carry roughly 6,500 pounds of supplies and science experiments to the International Space Station for the astronauts aboard the ISS there. So let's listen in.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and go CRS-34.
And liftoff. NASA's SpaceX 34th Commercial Resupply Services mission, carrying over 6,500 pounds of cargo and supplies, is on its way to the International Space Station.
Everything is looking good on board Falcon 9 and with our Dragon spacecraft. We heard those call-outs from Mission Control that the rocket is pitching downrange and that all 9 Merlin
telemetry nominal.
engines continue to perform well. We're just about to throttle down the engines to prepare for Max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure during ascent. Max Q happens when the combination of speed
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
and air pressure put the greatest stress on the vehicle. And with that call out from Mission Control, we know that Falcon 9 is moving faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
There's that call out for Max Q. Now coming up, there are going to be several major events that happen back to back.
All right, what a beautiful launch there. It's finally happening after being scrubbed a couple of times because of the weather, but right now, weather not an issue at all. Again, the resupply Dragon will dock at the International Space Station on Sunday morning. And you can continue to watch this live coverage of the launch right now by going to clickorlando.com.
The man accused of ambushing a Marion County deputy, then stabbing him, won't get out of jail anytime soon. Heriberto Medina Marquez went to court this morning. Marquez was argumentative with the judge at times. She rejected his request for bond. On Wednesday evening, the Marion County Sheriff's Office says Deputy Robert Fitch was responding to a call of a serious or suspicious person in Dunellen. Body cam video shows Medina Marquez attacking Fitch, knocking him to the ground, stabbing him in the chest. The deputy will be okay. His bulletproof vest stopped the knife. The battle over Florida's newly passed congressional map made its way into a courtroom today as opponents try to block it through litigation. The Republican-led state legislature passed a map proposed by Governor Ron DeSantis that would very likely reduce Democratic-held seats by maybe 4. Critics said this was a violation of the state's Fair Districts Amendment, which prohibits partisan gerrymandering. DeSantis and other proponents of the map have said that new map is needed to accommodate for Florida's explosive growth. But in a virtual hearing today on a lawsuit over the map, an attorney for one of the plaintiffs pointed out how the drawer of the map, Jason Pareda, acknowledged that he took into account partisan data when crafting it. First, you'll hear from that attorney, then an attorney for the Secretary of State downplaying Pareda's acknowledgement.
We contend that the Pareda's admission, as well as the governor's release of this map as a color-coded victory lap for the Republican Party, right before the legislative session make this an open and shut case.
They then ignore the bulk of Mr. Paredes' testimony before both the House and the Senate. Mr. Paredes was up there for hours explaining in painstaking detail how he drew the map.
So Leon County Circuit Judge did not make a ruling from the bench on the plaintiff's motion to block the map, but indicated he will issue a written ruling.
A St. Cloud police officer is behind bars at the Brevard County Jail on charges of domestic battery. The St. Cloud Police Department says Brevard County deputies arrested Officer Kyle Davis yesterday. Officers say Davis is relieved of his duties, and the department is launching an internal investigation into the incident alongside the criminal charges Davis faces in Brevard County. The St. Cloud Police Department says, quote, all members of this department, no matter their rank or tenure, are held to high professional and personal standards. Any action that harms the hard-earned trust of our community will not be tolerated.
A months-long dredging project to re-nourish the sand at some of Volusia County's beaches is finally done.
Coming up, how long it will take to remove those dredging pipes, and we'll take a look at the beach's new landscape. Plus, the Muppets are taking over Rock and Roller Coaster. Coming up, find out when the ride will reopen soon to park goers.
Gorgeous evening, and it should be a very nice weekend for most of us. I'm tracking where thunderstorm chances are going to focus for your weekend plans, coming up at about 6:17.
I'm Major Garrett. Here's what's coming up on the CBS Evening News. An Iraqi national is in federal custody here in the U.S., accused of plotting nearly 20 terror attacks, all in response to the U.S. war in Iran. We will bring you the latest tonight on the CBS Evening News.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
I'm Molly Reed, your Volusia County community correspondent. A major 5-month-long project here in New Smyrna on the beach to dredge sand and re-nourish the beaches is finally over. So right now during the day, to get this off the beach, that big machinery down there is lifting the pipes up, unscrewing them, and then overnight and in the early morning hours, another crew will be coming out here, dragging the pipes out to sea and put them on a barge to take them out of here.
It is good to re-nourish and bring all the sand back in, but at the same time, kind of pulling up to the beach and seeing all the pipes is something you don't want to see.
The county hopes to have this project completely off the beach by Memorial Day weekend. Once the pipes are gone, the county will put plants back in the dunes. Since January, it was dredging sand from a nearby area and pumping it along 4 miles of New Smyrna's beaches from north of Flagler Ave down south to almost Bethune Beach.
We have a beautiful berm that stays dry during high tide.
Jessica Fentress is the county's coastal director. She says major hurricanes over the last 5 years washed away most of the sand that was here, leaving high tides that would hit the seawalls and little dunes that would protect the coastline.
Sand is sacrificial. The reason that we place this sand on the beach is not only as a buffer from storm events on our shoreline, but it also provides critical nesting habitat for our sea turtles and our resting shorebirds.
Fentress says they actually ran out of sand to pump into the southern end of New Smyrna in this project, but will circle back to it soon.
We wouldn't commit to that until we worked out the financials, and none of that would begin until after November 1st, which is when sea turtle nesting closes.
Now, there is another major beach renourishment project already on the books, the county says. This one will be in 2027, where they will be targeting the beaches along Ponce Inlet. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Molly Reed, News 6.
Well, a big honor in St. Cloud for police officers who jumped in to rescue 6 people from a sinking boat. We showed you this incredible video from Lake Toho a couple weeks ago when that boat started taking on water in some rough weather. Last night, the officers were honored for all that bravery they showed.
We're blessed to have such a great training team and such a great administration that backs us and believes in us. And as I said, with all of those things came a rescue rather than a recovery.
We hear the family they rescued, by the way, is doing pretty well. A popular Sanford restaurant known for its food, community, and deep roots in the biker scene is about to serve its final meal.
Chantel's Just Until restaurant in Sanford is closing its doors after 13 years. Now, we've brought you stories of this restaurant and its owner for years now. Chantel Williams is recovering from a horrific crash during Bike Week. She says it's time for her to step back and spend more time with her family.
It's a sad point. Chantel's was someplace to go on the weekend, and it's going to be missed.
Black owned, so it's definitely mean a lot to, have something of your own to, show people around.
The location will open as a new restaurant next month. Williams says she still owns the property and will own part of the new restaurant.
Time now to get a check of that weekend weather for you. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. Are we going to be dodging showers this weekend?
Some of us will be, but it depends upon what side of the Florida Peninsula you are closer to, the Gulf side or the Atlantic side. Right now, here's a live look outside, nice and quiet. Very nice start to your weekend. Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam tonight with just a few passing higher thin clouds out there. 88 degrees, the current air temperature. The breeze feels pretty nice out of the northeast at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That breeze eventually going to back off gradually through the rest of your evening. We are at 86 in Oviedo, a toasty 91 for us in Mount Dora. Wildwood, good evening. We're hanging around 90 degrees still at this hour. Tomorrow morning, we are going to start things off a little warmer, a few notches higher than what we started with this morning, where we started at this morning. Low to mid 70s across most of Central Florida. We're back to the upper 60s in Marion County. Compare that to what we started today in the low to mid 60s. You can tell the humidity's trying to creep up just a little bit. Now here's a look at tomorrow afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
We're going to head back to the upper 80s if your plans take you to the soccer match tomorrow night. Orlando City back in town at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're going to be watching for that chance anyway for a couple of scattered thunderstorms to pop up right around the Orlando area and then push to the east. Storm chances over the next couple of days are going to favor the I-75 corridor really along. If you drew a line right down the Florida Peninsula and west, that's your best shot to see a few downpours tomorrow and then again on Sunday. That chance will go up a little bit more on Sunday to a 30% shot for a couple of storms. There's the rest of this evening looking very nice. We are dry with just a few passing clouds. Here's what I'm talking about for tomorrow. There's early afternoon, 2 to 3 o'clock, Couple of showers in the mix, developing right around the Orlando area, but then those push quickly to the west, closer to us along the I-75 corridor, Bushnell, Webster, Lake Panasoffkee through the Villages. That's what we'll be watching again for that chance anyway for a few scattered thunderstorms. Slightly better chance. This is the West Coast sea breeze. This is the wet season trying to get going as we move forward through May. That's 5 o'clock into the year evening with scattered thunderstorms really again west of the 429, west of Orlando and Apopka. A few of those could bleed back into the Orlando metro or into East Orange County, but the best chance on Sunday for scattered thunderstorms is going to be to the further west you are, I-75 toward the Gulf Coast. High pressure in control right now. That's keeping us nice and comfortable, relatively speaking. The humidity has come up a little bit. Dew point temperatures are in the mid-60s. For perspective, in the middle of summer, we're in the mid to upper 70s. So we're starting to creep back into a little more humidity. Some of that drier air and the dew point temperatures in the 40s are surging back up to the north. Nonetheless, we will start to add just a little bit more humidity through the course of the weekend and then really into the early part of next work week. Rain chances going up to 30%, mainly to the west of Orlando, again for us along I-75. 30% chance on Monday, and it sure looks like we are turning that corner into the wet season, which we desperately need, guys. Rain chances at 30% through the rest of the upcoming work week.
We only need about 3 feet of rain to get
That's right.
back where we need to
Baby
be.
steps.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, the Rock and Roller Coaster is getting a bit of a makeover. The Muppets are taking over, and we now know when it will open.
Yeah, the Electric Mayhem will hit the stage May 26 at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The attraction includes a new soundtrack, visuals, and an audio animatronics figure of Scooter and a team of Penguin audio engineers helping to get the band to showtime. Since 1999, the Rock and Roller Coaster featured hits from bands like Aerosmith. You can get the latest theme park news sent right to your email. Digital journalist Haley Coombs compiles the biggest stories on our attractions in one newsletter for you. Sign up for the In the Loop Theme Park Scoops newsletter at clickorlando.com/newsletters. Be sure to join us Monday night at 7 o'clock for After Pulse, 10 years of healing and change.
Julie Broughton will host a live town hall on the state of the LGBTQ community in Central Florida. You can watch and participate on clickorlando.com, the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV, and our Facebook and YouTube channels.
Here's a look at your top stories. A sinkhole in Maitland causing detours. This sinkhole was first discovered around midnight on Wymore Road, now less than 24 hours. It has doubled in size, measuring about 40 feet wide. Crews are now closely watching, but can now not fully assess the sinkhole until it is stabilized. You can use an alternate route to detour around this thing. Public Works says the road will likely stay closed until this weekend.
The man accused of ambushing a Marion County deputy will be staying in jail. This body cam footage caught the brutal attack. The alleged attacker, Heriberto Medina Marquez, appeared in court earlier today and was denied bond. He's being charged with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. His next court date is scheduled for June 16th at 9 a.m.
And a really sad update for you now. Mr. Ginger, the critically injured ill sloth that captured national attention, has now died despite round-the-clock veterinary care. The Central Florida Zoo says he was the youngest of the rescued sloths from that shuttered Orlando facility known as Sloth World. At least 56 sloths have now died following imports for the planned attraction. Animal health officials say they are committed to caring for the remaining animals still under veterinary supervision, and there are about 9 remaining right now. So we're really hoping that they can at least save those that are left. It's so sad. It's just a heartbreaking story.
To look at these adorable pictures of this little guy
and see that.
then know that he passed away.
Absolutely.
All right, meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, give us some good news as we head into the end of the show here.
Yeah, the temperatures are going to be back to around 90. It's going to be a little warm this weekend. Scattered thunderstorms are with us for half of the state of Florida. It certainly looks like that the wet season is trying to come on. So coming up tonight at 9:30, join me live every night, Monday through Friday, on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. We're going to take an in-depth look on, is this the wet season starting? Are we turning that corner? Again, there are some big-time signals that we are turning that corner, so I'm going to show you that, and also look at El Nino. NOAA came out with a new update yesterday about the percentages, and it's pretty crazy, and I think that is going to help us out as well going into next winter. I don't think we are going to see a drought develop next winter. That is going to be a little teaser to what we're talking about tonight. 30% shot for thunderstorms on Sunday. Those are going to try to focus west of Orlando, a few scattered showers possible around the Orlando area as well. And then there's another little teaser, 30% shot all week. We're getting there, guys. We need the rain bad.
Yeah,
it's
slowly
coming.
but surely.
Yes.
Thirsty, that's for sure. More news coming up at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app.
Until then, have a good night and a great weekend, everybody. Bye. I'm News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden. Here's a look at today's top stories. A heartbreaking update from the Central Florida Zoo tonight. Mr. Ginger, the critically ill sloth that captured national attention, has now died despite round-the-clock veterinary care. He was the youngest of the rescued sloths from the shuttered Orlando facility known as Sloth World. At least 56 sloths have now died following the imports from the planned attraction. Animal health officials say they are committed to caring for the remaining animals still under veterinary supervision. Meanwhile, the demand for sloth shirts benefiting the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens back in stock. Sanford Main Street says a new batch of the popular fundraiser shirts is back in stock at the Sanford Welcome Center. For those who can't make it there in person, the shirts are available for purchase online through the Sanford Main Street website. The response has been overwhelming, too. Supporters from 34 states have placed online orders, and the first run of 100 shirts sold out quickly. For more information, head to the homepage of clickorlando.com. A legal fight in Volusia County over a proposed motocross park after allegations that tax dollars were misused to buy the land. The proposed site is in rural West Volusia County off State Road 44 in the DeLand and Lake Beresford area. Someone who lives in DeLand filed a lawsuit claiming the county improperly used conservation funding to help purchase nearly 400 acres there. County leaders, though, are pushing back, saying the property was legally acquired through Volusia Forever and Echo funds for both preservation and public recreation. The county has since asked a judge to dismiss the case as it moves forward. That's it for now. We'll have a look at your forecast in the next 15 minutes.